Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see in the picture today, we will start the story of what if Issei got heartbroken and become Crimson Dragon of Domination Part 1. We find Issei walking away from the school heartbroken with tears in his eyes. A recent argument that happened a few minutes ago broke him. He just couldn't anymore. He went and just ran home with all his might. What was said cut to deep to still be around. Flashback a few minutes. The room was tense and filled with anticipation and concern. A small argument was starting, but nobody was able to keep it from getting to this point. Issei was almost backed into a wall. All eyes were on him, and there was nothing he could do. Ria stood front and center with the others watching from various spots of the room, watching the fight unfold. Ria's Issei, who am I to you? Issei swallowed, took a deep breath, then spoke. Issei, well, you're the president and I know. Ria's upset you. She slapped him hard enough to leave a mark on his face. He looked at her with complete shock. He didn't know what to do or say. Ria's, you dumb, can't you do anything right for the love of Satan? Stop being Ed and use you damn Brian. Satan, maybe I should have married Riser instead. She stormed off and left Issei just there in the middle of the room. He just stood there not knowing what to say. Bekendo angry, can you do anything right? How hard is it for you just to say her name? He could feel the lingering fear building up in him. It's a fear he's been pushing down and trying to forget he had, but it's coming back full swing, and they weren't helping, they were making it worse. Issei, wait, would let me. He tried to walk but he was stopped again. Asia, Issei, didn't you see you hurt her? Can't you see that? It's unfair. Issei, wait guys, let me just go and talk. Biba dude, not now, we need to go check on Ria's. Stay here before you make anything else worse than it already is. It's enough of a mess up as it is already. Zenobia, they call me dense, but come on man, you can be better than this. Kaneko, jackass, you really won't have any women in your life, pathetic. They were getting ready to leave, leaving Issei behind. Issei's hair covered his eyes while they were chewing him out, save for Irina Roswas and Ravel watching the fight unfold before them. Issei, Gasper, do you hate me now too? Asper, kind of, you did hurt Miss Gremory. Issei unintentionally used his polingual spell to see what they were thinking, hoping this was blind rage. Bekendo, is it that hard just to say her name? He really messed up this time. We don't have time for mess-ups like this. Asia, I'm normally one to side with him, but he's wrong this time. He was being stupid, and even I know that. Zenobia, they really called me thick-headed, but he's worse. Why aren't those saying anything? Are they staying mutual? But can't they see he's in the wrong? They should know better. Kaneko, good for nothing. Issei had enough and left. No voice of reason would be heard, so he just left. He slammed the hard enough that the walls started cracking. It shut them all up and scared them all a bit. They watched as the walls cracked further and the door didn't close properly. Present time. Issei needed to stop and just breathe and try and relax. His mind was racing and he couldn't stand it. His hands were shaking from frustration that he had fallen in love with such people. He tried to fight back his tears, but they were still running. He crouched down and covered his mouth with his hands to not cry, but it was no use. The tears came running full force. Issei crying, they call me useless, I'll show them all. He tried to slow down his breathing to let his body try and relax before he slowly lost it. Darling, you okay? He turned, looked to his side and saw Irina running to him with a very concerned face. She took his hand and brought it to her heart. Irina tearing up, Issei, are you okay? Issei coming down, I don't know, my mind is racing after everything she did to me. I don't know whether to be angry, sad or depressed. I just don't know anymore, and to top it all off, Ravel and Roswa saw it all too. Maybe I am this pathetic. Irina sad, yeah, she did. She's feeling guilty about it. She feels she was the cause of it, but Roswas told her to not worry about it after the others all left. After you did, you scared us all when you left like that, darling. Issei, deep breath, I'm sorry if I scared you, I didn't mean to. She nodded and brought him into a hug to make him feel loved and wanted. She gently stroked his head and she could feel the shaking slow down. Issei calming down, hey, thanks for checking on me, but I think I need a bit more time to clear my head. I need to just be by myself for a while. Irina, oh okay, kisses his cheek, be safe my love. Issei smiles always. He brought her into a hug and kissed her. It was a magical feeling for both of them. It slowly started to get more intense, and then her wings popped out and started flickering from white to gray, showing she was going to fall. He pulled away and flicked her forehead. Issei, stop having lewd thoughts, chuckles, I'll see you later, okay? She blushed and nodded and watched him walk away, feeling nothing but love from him, and it made her very happy. She walked home with a smile on her face. Issei walked for a bit with a smile on his face. Because of the feeling Irina gave him, he felt it before, but couldn't put his finger on it. But after a few more steps his smile faded and he didn't feel that happiness for a few moments from before. The feeling of just being manipulated and used just made him feel all the worse. He felt helpless, like he couldn't do anything at all. He just walked, and as he walked he felt their signatures. He masked his own and then went to see where they are. He found them sitting at a cafe. He hid near enough to hear them talking. So wow, he is a bit of a dumbass, if I'm being honest, but what made you fall for him in the first place? Ria's irritable. I'm questioning it, maybe it was when he rescued me from Riser, I don't know from there anymore, but I'm sticking with what I said, perhaps I should have married Riser. Look at him, now he's such a gentleman, he's honestly made Riser a better suited for me. Bekendo irritable. I know why I fell for him, but now I don't know anymore. Asia stayed quiet, not knowing what to say and rethinking the situation that had happened. Kaneko, he fooled all of us, the useless really messed up this time. She took a bite of her ice cream and still had a blank look on her face. Zenobia, I want to be his knight, but at this rate, I'm not sure if I'm going to ever be. They continued to drink their drinks and continue talking about him. It got to the point that they started talking about everything they hated about him, which was nearly everything. His straight face started to turn into a crying face, and his heart started to hurt a lot. Ria's angry. At least Riser said my name, maybe he would have been a better husband for me, he somewhat acknowledged me, unlike that Ed jackass. With a broken heart he got up and left with tears running down his face. He thought he found love, but it was just thrown back at his face. He got back to the orc club room and went on a frustration rant. He started smashing everything, and he really couldn't care anymore. All he did for them was protect them, be there for them, fix their problems, and even just comfort them when they felt down meant nothing anymore. He took out the Gremory ring from his pocket and then placed it on the desk. Issei, I'm done with them, I want nothing from them anymore. He then went home, and when he got home no one was home, and went to his bathroom and looked in the mirror. Issei Dreg. Brag partner, what can I do for you, my friend? Issei serious, can you bring me back to life? Brag, what do you mean by bringing you back to life? Issei, I'm going to rip out my chess pieces, she's just going to use me like a dog, so I'm going to leave her die on my own accord, no regrets. He had a smile on his face. He then summoned the gauntlet and aimed it at his chest. Brag, wait partner, what about Sererg? He still awaits your battle, perhaps leave after the fight, if you still wish to do so, do a last act of kindness towards the redeed, then cut them out forever. Issei put both his hands on the sink, looked into the mirror and cracked a smile again. Issei, you know that could be better than the extreme pain, then I need to go train then, I don't care anymore what happens to them, let them fight for themselves, I'm not doing anything for them anymore. Brag agreed. Now show them how badly they messed up. He left to go change, then went to the training room and started his warm-up of running for 1 kilometer. While he was gone the girls came back home from the cafe, they had worried faces, they wanted to apologize, some like Asia had tears in their eyes. Flashback to after Issei left the cafe. After saying Riser would be a better husband, Riaz took a sip of her tea, and Sona spoke. Sona, I understand that you are angry with him, but think of it in a different light, he gave you freedom, he's protected you all from things that could have killed you all. If you remember when we fought Loki, Riaz, that wolf wanted your blood, not his, I'm a little disappointed in you honestly. She and her peerage then bowed and left, leaving some money on the table. Riaz confused, where did that come from? They looked at each other, and after a few moments of thinking, it hit them like a truck, the emotions of when he died protecting them. The juggernaut driver taking the hits to make sure they weren't hurt, helping them accept themselves. They started to cry, the memories of his love came rushing back, they realized he didn't need to say it, he showed them his love every day, and they spat it in his face and treated him like dirt. They got up and ran home to find him. With Issei. He's currently got weighted clothing on, doing some sword swings to get faster and better, he's attacking the dummy relentlessly, with his fists hitting it with a strength he's never used before, damaging his hands and dummy at the same time. Brag partner, I have successfully prepared a spell to transform you for when you want to pull the pieces out after the fight, it's going to hurt, but it should be alright, and you should make a full recovery. Issei cool. Brag, but I do have another worry. Issei, what is it? Brag, I'll start from the beginning. When a dragon gets heartbroken as you have, they start to fall and either become evil or you die from a broken heart, it's called the falling, but by turning you into a full dragon, it should replace the devil portion, and you should be fine, given the risk of maybe needing to retrain your new body, but you'll be free from her and both the curse. Issei works for me, let's go further, we need to train more so we can beat Sererg, then let's do it, I haven't changed my mind, I'm leaving for good. Brag, he's bottled up the emotions he's feeling, this isn't good, not good at all, luckily he's got that angle with him, or the curse would have taken a worse effect. It'll work on the counters in the event the curse starts to affect him at a faster rate, I suppose he needs to vent a bit more to calm down. After his training with weights on to build his muscle, he didn't use any magic or the boosted gear, he continued for a few hours straight, after then looked at the time and saw what time it is. Issei, it's late, I should get some rest. He finished his set and then went to shower. He shed a few tears, while the hot water washed away the sweat and the pain from his body. It felt like the emotion was washed away as well. After he stood outside his bedroom door, he rested his head on the wall and pondered if he should go in or not, but decided to just go to a different room, instead not even wanting to see them. He got into the bed, closed his eyes and went to sleep, feeling numb and happy from the events of today drained him, and he just wanted this day to end, he had enough of it. But the girls a few moments ago. They are still awake waiting for his return. They feel guilty about their actions. They hurt him when all he did was love them. They sit in silence. If they had to speak they would break down. It got late. Then they felt his presence outside the room. They all got excited in hopes he would walk in. But he didn't. With a defeated look and a few tears in their eyes, they went to sleep. Ria's the bed is cold without you in it. What have I done? Bekendo, we definitely messed up. I want to say sorry. But how do I do that after what I said to him? I really am a despicable woman. Asia, why did we do that? I'm sure he was going to do the right thing, but we didn't want to listen to him. Zenobia, perhaps I was in the wrong too much this time. I sided too quickly. He's grown so strong. I'd be happy with him to be my king. He already is. Hineko, I overstepped too much towards him. He cares for me so much, and I probably put the final nail in the coffin. I doubt he will accept my apology. The next morning Issei woke up and got ready for school. He went to the kitchen and made himself some coffee and some food. Then his parents walked in a bit too happy for normal standards. Mickey, happy morning. Issei, dear, how are you? Where are the girls? Issei, not looking at them. I'm miserable and I don't know, nor do I care where they are. Boru, confused, my boy, how come you don't know? Issei, not looking at them, haven't seen them since last night, so I won't bother trying to find out. His parents got visibly angry with him. Mickey walked closer with an angry look on her face and got into his eyeline. Mickey, how can you say that? You are so protective of all of them, now you don't care. What did you do to them, you ungrateful brat? What is it, the porn it has to be, or are you cheating on them after all Riaz has done for us? The girls came downstairs and heard the tail end of what Mickey just said to him. They saw him with his parents, but his parents didn't see them. Boru, we raised you better than this. How can you do this to them? You better go and apologize to them, or I'll bring down hell on you. Issei, tell me, what did I exactly do? I have no intention of talking to either of them. Slap. Mickey had slapped him in front of all of them. The girls were surprised, and they didn't expect that from his mother. On the other hand, he didn't like that at all. Mickey, you are to apologize to them immediately. Issei looked at his mother, ready to raise his hand to her, but didn't. Instead, he took a deep breath and spoke. Issei, angry, you know what, I'm done with this. He took his things and left. He stopped at the door and looked at the girls watching, then looked back at his sockled parents. Issei, enjoy your daughters, and I'm leaving this family. I'm done with the two of you. He left the house. Irina took her things quickly and went after him, while the rest girls sat down speechless. They had never seen him like that with his parents. They didn't know what to think. Mickey, oh good morning girls, sorry if you saw what happened. That ungrateful brat needed to be brought down to earth again. Ria's mother. Mickey raised her hand to Ria's to make her stop talking. Mickey, no, don't say anything. When that brat comes to his senses, then it will all be better. They all started shedding tears except Roswis. Roswis, they made it worse, and they don't even see it. This is bad. Hopefully Irina can calm him down a bit. She looked at all of them and only saw guilt on their faces. But Issei. He's walking to school irritated and agitated with everything. He's walking in silence. He then hears footsteps behind him. As he turns, Irina goes straight for the beer-crushing hug and starts apologizing to him. Irina crying, I'm sorry they did that to you. Issei, relax Irina, it's fine, they made their choices. It's clear without knowing the truth it's on them, not me. It just hurts they wouldn't take my side at all. But who am I kidding? They haven't been my parents for a while. Want to help me look for a house later? I need to get out of that place. Irina, sure, I'd love to, but why don't we first take your mind off things first? The green gem grew on his hand and they heard a voice. Greg, why not indulge in something else that takes your mind off things before I came along? Irina, oh yes, and if I'd love to hear you sing again. Do you still sing? It's been a while. He looked at her smile and wiped her tears and remembered that he was an okay singer and remembered Mickey had him learn how to play the piano and guitar. Issei, well, music helps now and again, let's go, but you need to eat something first, my dear. He held Irina's hand and they stopped at a store to get Irina something to eat first. Before they got to the school, Issei paid for her and didn't listen to her protests, so she would pay for herself. They arrived at school and went to the music room, which was still set up from the last practice that was had in the room. He sat down at the piano while Irina sat next to him and he started playing. The rest of the girls arrived at the school and started intently looking for him. They found him with Irina. They walked in while he sang. They kept it quiet so as not to disturb him and watch him sing. It surprised them that they could dance so well too and still play instruments on top of it too. As he played, they started to feel worse about how they treated him. They didn't account for his feelings. Now they seeing it in full. They also watched as Irina rested her head on his shoulder and kissed his cheek. They felt bad that they hurt him like this. When he finished, he took a deep breath and looked at Irina next to him. Issei, how that felt good. Maybe I should do it more, but I better pack this up before I get in trouble. Irina, that was fantastic darling, you should sing more. Issei, only for you. Then smiles. He kissed her cheek and she smiled at him before they could be noticed. They left heartbroken that he wouldn't sing for them and now they see his true feelings. Issei, they it hiding, don't you think? Irina, you said it. They went to class which was starting in a few minutes, so he prepared himself and started reading about meditation while Irina sat at her desk watching him. It surprised a lot of his classmates that he was trying to meditate and not reading or looking at pornos for a change. Zenobia tried talking to him, but he flat out ignored her. Same with Asia, they could see something happen between them, but didn't know what. During lunch, he sat with Saji who was updated on the incident. He could see the change, and it hurt him to see his friend like that. He didn't bring anything up, but did talk about the rating game and if he has any tricks up his sleeve. After school he didn't go to the orc club room like normal, instead he went to go look for a house with Irina. But the girls. They are currently walking to the clubroom. Once opening it they saw the mess. They thought someone had come in and messed up the place. They started to shed tears, thinking that someone still had to do this. Well, they already had a lot on their plate. It was so bad, they just broke down, not able to hold it in anymore. The Kendo tearing up. We can't keep hurting him like this. Sniff. I can't keep it in anymore. Sniff. Ria's tearing up. I'm such a fool. Sniff. Why did I hurt him like this? Hineko holding it together. Sniff. What's that on your desk? Ria's. They moved to the desk and saw the ring. Ria's broke down in tears, so did Akeno. The others were a bit confused. Zenobia tearing up. What's wrong with the ring? Sniff. Akeno crying. It's the Gremory family ring only Ria's father had before Surziches used it. It looks like he gave it to issei to give to Ria's. It's a sign of acceptance into the family, but it's here, it's not on Ria's finger, and he's not here with him, he has left us for good. They realized what this meant. He was done with them. They started to shed more tears and then decided to quickly go back home to find him to apologize to him before it was too late. But issei, after finding a place to move to, they along with Irina and Ravel went house hunting with him. They met Ravel before they left. Ravel did try and apologize to him for what happened, but he flicked her forehead and she had a tick mark looking at him, but he told her it wasn't her fault for anything that happened, and the three went house hunting. They found a small 2-bedroom apartment and it was close to the school and a bit far from his house, which was good. He signed the documents and then paid the deposit. He signed it under student residence, so they don't need to get any adults involved because it's a learning curve for students to handle things on their own. After that Ravel had to go home to see her mother and said she will be back later to help with training, and then Irina had to go check in with Lord Michael, so issei went home and went to train. Once he got home he ran into his mother. Mickey Petty thought you were done with this family. She mocked his words and tried to hurt him more, but he didn't let it get to him and spoke. Issei, I found a place to stay and I'm moving end of the week, or as soon as I'm notified I can get the keys, then you won't ever see me again. The calmness in his voice shocked Mickey. She thought he was going to go off at her or be a teenager and argue with he, but he didn't. He walked past her and some guilt fell upon her that she didn't like. Issei then went to the training room. He put on weighted clothing and started to work out and start fighting with a dummy. He was going hard, putting all his strength into his throws, kick swings, everything. His body started to wake up, his muscles burning, his instincts took over, and a golden aura creating heat in the room formed around him, and scales grew all over his body. On his last strike, he blasted both dummies away into the wall, and he fell to his knees panting. By the time the girls found him he was drenched in sweat and panting heavily. They ran to him, tears running. Ria's issei him. Issei angry, save it, don't want to hear it, nor am I the mood to hear anything from either of you. Ria's worried. Issei, why don't you take a break, you look tired. Issei angry, no, you should all get off your assess and train. I'm fighting Sererg, not you, so let me be. He pulled his arm away from their grasp, turned away from them, and took off the weighted clothing. Irina and Ravel walked in with Roswis. They saw him take off the clothing, then they all heard a hard thud hit the ground and saw his physique changing to becoming more muscular, and the lines of his abs started to show. He grabbed a towel and started to wipe his face clean. As he did so the scales that Bruce started to shed off his body and break away like they never existed. The girls each started to blush and began to be turned on by him, who stood there looking at him, either fidgeting or rubbing their thighs together. Issei caught them looking and went off at them again. Issei angry, what is it, why are you just standing there, get to work. Ria's blushing, you look very hot. Issei, ha, thanks. He kept a blank face and it hurt Ria's to see he was not even taking a compliment like he used to anymore. Irina darling, you look very handsome like this. Issei smiles, thank you, Irina, now I need to go shower. The Kendo want us to join you. Issei no. He left them all in the training room and went to shower. They felt bad he was not showing them the same affection they once knew. He doesn't even look at them anymore. Ross was blushing. I'll admit him being in control like that is a really nice thing to see on any man. The Kendo blushing, me too, but he doesn't seem interested in either of us now, only Irina. Hineko, I'm sure if Roswis said something he would have had a smile. Roswis grew a bit of a blush but shook it off. Ravel, I knew things were bad, but after we went house hunting and found him a place it seems reasonable now. I would do the same if I were in his shoes. They all looked at her confused, almost like she was speaking a different language. Asia confused, come again, I don't think I heard you correctly. Ravel, I said he has a new place to stay, I helped him pick it too. Irina, yeah, it's a nice place, I want to move in with him, smiles. Ria's tearing up, he can't leave, I need to fix things with him, I took him for granted and now it's too late, I'm such a fool. She took a deep breath trying to calm herself. Ria's determined, no, I won't let that happen, we need to train like hell and after the fight with Sarayarg and the festival we apologize and hopefully it's not too late. Girl, sounds good. Ravel, I wish you guys luck, I need to go home now, bye. She left and the others all started training. Issei is outside the gym door listening. Issei, how they think I'll forgive them that easily. He walked to the bathroom, but his parents saw him. Mickey wanted to stop him, but before she could, he stopped her before she could say anything. Issei, don't touch me, you don't even deserve to call me your son right now. And left them in the passageway and went to get done. Afterward he went to a different room than the night before and got ready to sleep. Issei, I still feel numb. He closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep. It was another night without him in the bed with them. The girls felt like they lost him before they even had him with determined eyes. They looked at each other and went to sleep. But his parents. They now see how they hurt him a lot and want to make it right, but it may be too late to try to fix it. They sat with a heavy heart thinking of where they went wrong. The next morning Issei woke up and a pure high-pitched whining in his ears, his mind void of any thoughts. He sat up in the bed and his arms had a weird pain shooting through them. He looked at his arms and saw black veins growing on his arms taking scale form and other scales taking formation on other parts of his body. Issei, Drag, what's troubling you? Issei, my arms. Drag, it's the falling, it seems like your fall is the dying fall. Issei, what if we do the transformation now? Drag, there is a 50-50 shot of it failing, it hardly worked with other users that went down this path, we can try, but it might kill you, I want you to think about it first before I do it. Issei, fair, but what do we do about this? He traced one of the veins with his finger and he could feel a tingling feeling from the vein. He then traced some of the scales and they felt sharp but also as stiff as a stone. Drag, I won't lie about it, this is bad, the other dragons around you will feel the fall and react accordingly to their relationships with you. Issei, fitting, I have a numbness in my soul, so this is kind of fitting that I'm dying, so it looks like they are where the death of me perfect. Drag, I'll try and see if there is a way to either slow it down or stop it entirely, but I would suggest telling someone that you can confide in it can help settle the nerves while I look into either perfecting the transformation or find a way to slow this down. Issei, I'll see how today goes, maybe, I don't know yet. Drag, rest up Issei, this isn't going to be your end, that much I promise you. Issei, thanks Drag. He looked at the room he was in and then took in the room and saw how empty it felt. It wasn't even like he was in the room itself, it was cold and empty. He just walked to the training ground and then did a few morning stretches, then started some weights training. He started with his arms and then pain rushed through his body and he dropped the weight and held his arm and winced in pain. Issei, in pain, damn it. He held his arm where the veins formed and held it in pain and fell over, trying not to let out a scream on the floor. Drag, breath, take deep breaths and relax as best you can, it should subside, your body is slowly giving up and it's going to become weaker than you are the more you strain your body. I suggest not doing any training for the time being, it could possibly speed up the process and shorten your life even further. He nodded and started to control his breathing and let the pain subside. After a few minutes he started to feel better, yet his body was still filled with pain, but it was manageable for him. Issei, I need to be stronger to fight Sarayarg, I have to show him how strong I can get. Drag, after Kyoto, you've unlocked your true strength in a sense and you would have gotten stronger, but due to current circumstances you can't, or you'll only end up killing you faster. In the end, the strain the promotions give may be your downfall altogether, so try and keep your life longer and maybe it will give me time to see if we can prevent this. Issei, fine, but just that little bit made it spread. Look. Moving along his arms to his chest and slowly onto his back and legs. Issei, no one can see this, I don't need fake affection from any of them. Drag agreed, then I suggest not doing anything that will strain you, but talk to either the angel, the phoenix girl or even the Valkyrie, they seem to have your best interest. Issei, if Irina moves in with me then maybe she and Ravel, I'll tell Raswa-sensei, but I'm not sure how she could handle it, she's a lot like Irina, they are both soft souls, even Ravel, she wouldn't say it herself, but I see it, but honestly, I don't want people feeling sorry for me, I don't want anyone's pity. Drag, spoken like a true dragon, but Albions and Vritra's hosts will see it when they see you and tell their hosts. Issei, then they will know, by then I'll be gone. He got changed and wore a long shirt to cover up the markings growing on his arms and his body. He sat in the lounge looking at the furniture in his new apartment and what he should change or fix. Issei, it's nice, simple and enough, maybe change it up if I'm still around, the place is cheap enough to look after and I have enough money. Drag, it's up to you, partner. Issei then stood in the window way and watched the sunrise and stood with his thoughts. Useless, pathetic head, idiot, ungrateful brat, jackass, you won't ever have any women in your life. A few tears ran down his face. They killed him, and right now there was nothing that he could do but just sit around, and fighting Sererg might just be his last thread. He felt a pair of arms around him, his heart raced from their touch. He loved having her arms around him, but the presence behind him he wanted to hit. He looked back and saw Ria's holding him. Ria's issei. Issei, get off me, nothing you say now will change anything. Even when he really needed to be held, he pulled her arms off him and walked away. She stood there with tears in her eyes, and heartbroken. The impact of her actions was showing, and she didn't know how to fix it. All she wanted to do was hold him and feel his warmth from his body, but even she did hold him, he felt cold to the touch. Issei went to his room feeling nothing, no anger, no sadness, no hatred, just a numbing feeling at the back of his head. Issei, now I'm wanted around. He opened his door to find them still in his room, either waking up or changing. They didn't scream, but looked happy to see him, but he didn't even look in their direction. He took his uniform and left and shut the door. Asia said, we hurt him so much. Zenobia, we were unfair to him, now he won't even look at us. Kaneko said, I think I struck a chord when I said he won't have any women in his life. Zenobia, what's wrong with us? With issei. He was just walking, not really thinking. He opened a random door, then walked in and closed the door. When he turned around, he saw Ross was naked and still getting dressed in her suit. She just looked at him and a blush grew on her face. He also grew a blush, then turned around instantly. She was about to scream, but he spoke first. Issei, blushing, I'm really sorry, I wasn't thinking straight and I just walked in without knocking. Ross was blushing. It's fine, but can you? Issei, can I talk to you about something? Ross was concerned. What is it? He could hear concern in her voice, but kept his mind clear and took a deep breath before he spoke. Issei, before I tell you, please keep an open mind, but first finish. I'll keep looking this way, it's important. Ross was slight blush. Okay. She continued to finish getting dressed. Issei didn't dare make a noise to not make her uncomfortable. He just rested his head on the door and focused on his breathing. His lungs started to get tight, his chest felt like it was constricting the more he forced his body to something. Ross was okay, I'm done. He turned around and saw her dressed in her suit and her hair was done slightly differently, but he didn't say anything. Ross was, how are you feeling since the other day? Your attitude towards them completely changed. Does what you want to talk about have to do something that? Issei, yes, it does, and my attitude change towards them is valid. They killed me. Ross was trying to stay calm. Please elaborate. Issei took off his shirt and she saw black marks taking scale form on his body, with the veins running around his limbs. Issei, this is my body dying. Before you say anything, let me fully explain. She nodded with tears building in her eyes. Issei, you see, dragons are emotional creatures, and as such when a dragon gets hurt by a mate it has very negative effects. We either turn evil or die. I'm dying, I'm getting weaker as we speak. Drake found a way to save me, but it's not a permanent solution right now. It could also kill me. I'm just so tired tearing up. I don't want to die. There's still so much I want to do, but they killed me crying after I fight Sererg. I could very much drop dead and not get up. I'm scared. I don't know what to do anymore. He just stood there with tears running down his face. Ross wasn't feeling any better. She had a few tears of her own. Issei became a good friend to her, and now she was going to have to watch him die. She came and brought him into a hug, and he held her tight and she did the same. Ross was trying to stay calm. Issei sniff, who else knows? Issei crying, you dragon myself. Ross was, why don't I tell Serziches or even Azazel about your condition? Issei crying, telling anyone else will only give me a little time and more fake love from the others in this godforsaken house. He gripped tighter on her shirt and she tightened her grip on him and just held him to help him relax. Ross was calming down. Okay, take a deep breath. If there's nothing to do, then we live your life to the fullest in the next few days before the fight, but I would suggest telling Ravel and Irina. Irina clearly loves you the most, and Ravel is meant to be looked after by you, so your death would also affect her a lot. Issei calming down, I'll tell them when I move out. I'm pretty sure Irina is going to follow me, and Ravel too. I'll tell them then. I might end up moving tomorrow morning, and I would like you to come visit, please. She let go of him and looked him in the eyes. She could see how broken he was about this. Ross was, before we leave for school, mind if I try some helping or try to conceal it for you? Issei, sure, go ahead. He sat on the edge of her bed and she sat behind him and tried some healing magic on him, but Issei winced in pain and they saw that the veins slowly started spreading again. A green gem grew off his hand, it glowed green and Drake's voice could be heard. Drake, I thought as much. I'll keep looking, partner, but it doesn't look like healing magic will heal you. Ross was, in sage magic. Drake unclear about it. We would have to try it, but with someone who has experience. I would suggest the Osaka in Kyoto or that black cat if need be. Issei, tired, we can handle it later, let's go to school. Issei's body felt exhausted and tired, like he hadn't slept for the past few days. He could feel himself getting more and more tired, too fast for comfort. Ross could see it on his face, his fatigue was serious. Ross, are you sure you will be able to handle school today? She put the back of her hand toward his forehead, and his body was cold, very cold, some would think he was dead. She had a very concerned look on her face, but she saw a light in his eye that made her think otherwise. Issei tired, yeah, I'm sure, but I'm also sure Sona would find out through Saji. Dragons can feel when a dragon is falling, so they would probably make me go home to rest and not do anything, but I still want to go. Ross was all alright, then I'll still be keeping an eye on you though. Issei tired, and I appreciate it, thank you sensei. He bowed and left. Roswis's changed a lot. As Issei left Roswis's room, he took a deep breath and then went in search of Irina. He walked around aimlessly, the thoughts of wanting to be more, to do more, and even be somebody he could be happy with completely shattered. He was lost motivation to do a lot of things. School didn't even seem to what wonderful to even continue to have an accomplishment anymore. The void in his chest grew and it felt horrible. Issei. He turned and saw his mother and father standing behind him looking guilty. Issei tired, what is it, wanting to belittle me even more? Nikki, it's not that at all. I want to apologize to you. What we did was unfair to you, and I don't want you to leave, please my baby. Aura, yes, son, please don't leave, we want you around. Issei tired, too little too late, the damage is done. I'll never see you as my parents, not after you sided with strangers, rather than your own flesh and blood. You made a choice, I made mine, I'm leaving, and there's nothing you can do about it. He walked away, leaving them alone in the hallway. His tone was cold and empty of emotion, as if he didn't care about anything anymore. It broke Mika's heart seeing the cold look in his eyes and lack of emotion. She couldn't help but feel guilty for hurting him like this. Miki tearing up, what have we done? Aro sad, he's right when I think about it. When last have we done anything nice or good for him? When last did we even tell him we love him? Miki crying more, we're horrible parents, we haven't even spent time with him personally. He even brought girls home, and the first thing we did was give them our love and attention, and not towards him. Aro sad, there has to be a way to fix this. Issei walked downstairs and found Irina and Ravel talking. He walked towards them and tried to look okay for them, but not give it away too much yet. Issei tired, morning you too, when did you get here Ravel? Ravel, this morning, I wanted to see you and see how you're holding up. Issei tired, I'm miserable. Irina concerned, what happened darling? Issei tired, I'll tell you when I move out, promise Miles. Seeing him smile calmed them down a bit, knowing he was hurting a lot, but something was off. They could see really is miserable, but don't want to make him feel pressured into anything by prying right now. Irina, when are you moving? Issei tired, soon, I hope. I hate being in this house. Ravel, let me know what I can help with, please. Issei, don't worry, I'm only taking clothes and that's it, the place is furnished already, remember. Irene thinking back, oh yay. Ravel, hey Irina, are you going to move with him? She smiled and nodded and held his hand. She could feel the cool touch of his, but just held his hand tighter to try and warm it up. He held her hand tight as well. Irina happy, it's been a dream of mine to live with the one I love, being here didn't feel right. Issei tired, I agree. Ravel, what about you want to move in too? If Irina doesn't mind, we can share a room and you can have the other one to yourself. Irina happy, oh I don't mind at all. Ravel surprised, are you being serious? The other girls started coming down. They could hear Issei's voice carrying down the stairwell, and they could hear how he spoke. He was more energetic with Irina and Ravel than them. Issei tired, yeah, why not, I made a promise to look after you and moving with me will make it easier. Ravel happy, then I'll move in the day after you move in. Irina happy, this is going to be so fun. Zenobia confused, what's going on Issei, why is she moving with you? Issei tired, none of your concern for either of you. He spoke with authority and it made them feel uncomfortable. They sat down and then Issei stood up. Issei, I'll see you later at school, I need to go talk to Saji about something. He kissed Irina and messed up Ravel's hair. Ravel Angrabaka, don't mess up my hair. Issei smiling too late. He left and left all the girls alone. Asia, he's becoming even more distant from us. Riaz, I don't know what to do. Nikki, but I have an idea. They all looked at his mother. He clearly had been crying. With Issei, he took a fast walk to the school. He would use magic, but if it was going to kill him, rather not unless it was needed, and went straight to the student council. On inside of the room, they were all working diligently. Then Momo saw Saji start crying. Mama concerned, Jenkin, is something wrong? They all looked at him, shedding tears with a concerned look. Saji slightly crying, Issei no. The door opened and lo and behold Issei stood in it. They could see the dead look in his eyes and Saji put down his work and went, and the two left, no questions asked. Sona, what was that about? Tsubaki, do you wish for some if we go see it? Sona, no, given recent events I believe it's a dragon thing. They can feel the emotion to a greater extent, so Issei probably just needs a friend. Amo, I still can't believe they did that to Issei though. Sona, I agree, but let's get done, school starts soon. But the two dragons. They both just walked to a secluded part of the school and Saji really broke. Sajikring, no, please don't tell me, Vritra told me as you came, please tell me it's a lie. Issei said, no, it's real, look. Issei raised his sleeve, and Saji saw the black scales on his arms. Issei tired, it's spread all over my body, look, it's part of the reason why I asked you here. Saji, then why? Issei tired, I want you to tell Serafal without telling Sona, I need help and I don't need Surzich's knowing yet and I believe Serafal can help me. Saji, but I wouldn't be able to do that without Sona knowing something or stopping me entirely. Issei tired, tell her it's a dragon matter and that Issei wants it to be kept to a certain few and tell her Issei was at the cafe, she'll know what I mean. I want you to tell Serafal to look into dragon healing magic. Saji, all alright, but why? Issei tired, Drake made a spell to help me, but it got too high of a chance to kill me, and right now healing magic is killing me faster. We want to try sage magic, but then I need to go to Yasaka or Kuroka. Saji, you brave to go to that cat for help, but you never know, it might just be the reason you live. Issei tired, but please have her look into dragon healing and let me know what you find. Saji, of course, man, I won't let you down. Issei nodded and then the two went their separate ways. Saji went back to the council room. And they all looked concerned for him, even Sona showed some concern but kept her cool about the situation. Saji, Sona, may I request a meeting with Mo Leviathan? Sona raised eyebrow, why? Saji, it's a personal matter between Issei and I. Sona, if he wants to talk to her, he can come ask me personally. Saji, he was at the cafe. Sona's eyes went wide and the rest of the peerage saw this. A few of the girls with that day's eyes widened as well, realizing the position they were in now. Saji, wow, that worked. What did they all do? They all look shocked. Sona, concerned, very well, but I would request to be brought in as well, I want to help in any regard. Saji, so be it, we need to work fast, we don't have time. There was a determined look on his face, he's never been this serious before and to the girls it looked good on him. With Issei he walked to class and sat down. There were already some people in the class, being Akia, Kadis and Mayamura. Akia, hey Haidu, not trying to peek at any girls today. Issei tired, it's not Haidu, I left my old family. Kadis confused, what, why? Issei tired, reasons that don't concern you, now leave me alone, it hasn't been a good few days. He rested his head on his arms and tried to keep to himself. Irina, Zenobia and Asia walked in. The three walked to him. When Asia and Zenobia tried to touch him, he just pulled away from them. They then walked away with sad faces, but Irina, she held him and made him feel comfortable. Kadis, hey, what's going on? Normally those four are close, but now he hasn't given them the time of day. Akia, Mayamura, Issei, are you dying? The class looked at her and then at him with shocked faces. His current appearance wasn't looking great. Irina had a concerned look on her face and held his hand, and this time her heart was racing. His skin was ice cold to the touch, this time worse than this morning. He slowly raised his head and looked at her and gave her a soft smile. She then came and stood behind him. Issei tired, what gives you that idea? Akia, you are looking pale, very pale. He could see it on her face, she was concerned about his current appearance and he could feel the grip Irina holding his hand. Issei tired, like I said, none of your concern, plus even if I was, I wouldn't want your pity, no one in this class is my friend and I'm 90% sure none of you personally even like to talk to me, so again leave me alone. This struck a chord in the class, they saw a side of him they didn't even know existed. Zenobia and Asia started to fear the worst for him. Mayamura, then what about Irina, isn't she your friend? Issei tired, no, she's not, she's my girlfriend. Irina just blushed and smiled, then wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed his cheek. It shocked the class a lot that Irina was his girlfriend. Zenobia and Asia couldn't even think straight anymore, they just felt empty inside. After a long school day, Issei walked to the orc club room. Upon entering they all felt happy that he was coming back here and hoped that they could fix it. He walked in and they smiled at him. Ryashipi, hello Issei. Issei tired, I'm leaving the orc, I don't have time for it, nor do I want to be here, I've only come for Ravel. Come on Ravel, I got the keys early, we can move in now. Ravel surprised, oh okay, let's go. She quickly started packing her things. Issei tired, yeah let's go, Irina already waiting for us. They two left, leaving the whole club confused. Akeno and Kiba were beyond shocked. Asia and Zenobia started to shed tears along with Riaz, while Kaneko was just lost in thought. Akanasha kept tearing up, did he just? Kiba shocked, yeah he did. Isaya crying, he's left us for good, sniff. Zenobia tearing up, this can't happen. Riaz tearing up, no, I refuse for him to leave my side, we may need to try that idea of mother's. She got up and her peerage followed her. With Issei and Ravel they quickly got back to the apartment and Irina was inside boiling some water for them. Issei tired, we are back. Irina smiles, welcome back my love, and hello Ravel, it's good to see you. Issei tired, right, before we do anything I need to talk to the two of you about smoothing important. They could see the look of concern on both their faces, he could hear their hearts beating more as he brought up the topic. Ravel worried, is everything okay? Issei tired, no it's not in the slightest. The girls could feel that something was off, his neutral appearance went to that of despair and hopelessness. Irina concerned, darling, are you okay? Ravel concerned, what's going on? Issei took a deep breath and spoke. He told them everything. Their eyes widened and then their tears started forming. They even started crying. Irina just held him, crying her heart out, and Ravel couldn't find the strength to hold his hand. It hurt them a lot. He was a special person to the both of them in different ways. For Irina, the love of her life, and Ravel, a close friend that's changed her life a lot. Ravel crying, please let me try. Phoenix tears. Issei tired, don't, please don't, the magic is only going to aggravate it and only kill me faster. Sage magic is the only one out of everything, it's the one thing. Drake is probably going to be the safest, but I don't know what I'm going to do anymore. He sunk into the couch and the girls just hugged his sides and he wrapped his arms around them. They could feel how cold he was, it only made them cry more knowing that Hess slowly dying in front of them. Irina crying, please don't fight, I know it's a selfish request, but please, I can't lose you. Her wings started turning gray and he just put his hand on her head to make her look at him. Issei tired, I have to, as much as it could kill me, I made a promise to Sarah that we will have a good fight and I'll give it to him. Please, I know how much you love me and I love you too, but I have to, not for her but for myself, to prove how strong I've become, even if it kills me. Ravelkring, what if you die while fighting? I'm sure Surzich-sama and the others would postpone it to try and get you more time. He will move the whole of the underworld to make sure you survive. Issei tired, I know he would, but I don't want the people who killed me to have a chance to talk to me. I don't want them to get close to me, but now I just need to try and get through a day at a time, or I'm cut even shorter. Irina, no Sniff, you're not going to school. Sniff, if you're going to fight we need you to rest and save your energy. Ravel, Sniff, I agree, please let us look after you, it's the least we can do because you've done a lot for us. Issei tired, fine, I'll stay, but you two aren't missing out on school, got it? I'll just sleep or talk with Drake or see if Saji has anything for me. Irina, what is he doing for you? She started wiping her face, trying to be strong for him. Ravel slowly started doing the same, trying to make him feel better. Issei tired, I told him to talk to Seraphil if she can find a way to heal a dying dragon. I told him to keep it confidential between him and her and Sona if she insists on helping. Ravel, but for the time being we are keeping you alive the best we can. Issei, thank you, you too, it means a lot. They both hugged him and he hugged them back. It slowly brought back some warmth to his body and they could feel him becoming warmer. Back at the Haidu mansion later that night. They all sat in silence. They were all dressed up, hoping to impress him with both his parents, and the girls just had sad looks on their faces, realizing he was not coming back to the house. Rias said, hopefully we can talk soon. Issei woke up one morning, the feeling of pain washed over his body and his muscles ached from the pain. The overwhelming numbness he felt was starting to grow. He knew this was death calling for him. If he turned evil he would be getting stronger. Not weaker. He took a deep breath before he got up. He felt a presence in his room, then he felt someone holding him. He opened his eyes and saw Irina next to him, holding on to him for dear life. He could feel the warmth coming from her and how warm it made him feel better, but broke his heart for her. Issei, I wish I could treat her better, but with the way things are going, I'll have to treat her the best I can tonight, it's the least I can do for her. He pulled her closer to him and she snuggled and smiled in her sleep and got comfortable in his new body warmth. That night he slowly started getting warmer as they slept. He stayed like this for a bit, then after 10 minutes he kissed her forehead and went to the living room and made a place for him to sit on the couch. As he got the space ready, Drake spoke to him. Drake, Ice, we could try the transformation I made. It's one of the few things that may save you, but I thought about it. Phoenix tears, they could help slow down the spread because they rebuild the body, not fix it. It's worth a shot. The reason I'm bringing it up is there is nothing other than myself slowing it down, and if you fight we going to need to have another thing to fall back on. Issei, I want to, I really do, but if it doesn't work and it kills me, or it only speeds up the fall and I have less time with them, plus she would feel like she made my time shorter. Issei then sat down and started meditating to try and calm down his body and to find an inner peace about the situation. Greg understood, partner, but you know that new promotion you have, we haven't tried it, it's going to be one hell of a learning curve during the game, but we can't risk it now, it should be fun using it. Issei, yay, one hell of a way to go out, but hey, it was something I loved about my life, like meeting you and everyone else. I sure things aren't good now, but I'll take everything that happened over a normal life any day. Greg, if things are cut short, I want you to know I'll mentally abuse my next host. They won't come close to anything you've done. You were my first friend in a long time. I want to say thank you for everything. Issei, no problem. Chuckles, have some last bit of fun, yay. To the outside world, Ravel and Irina saw him meditating and saw a small smile on his face. They could only assume that Drake was trying to make him feel better. They had small smiles to see him smiling, but their hearts only felt the pain and sorrow from knowing the truth. Irina, we should call Roswa-sensei, I'm sure she would like to at least see him doing well before the fight. Ravel, yeah, I agree, but should we let those ones know? They looked at each other for a bit, but in the end, neither of them knew if they should or not. It made things complicated, which they knew he didn't want to deal with. Issei, it's your choice, I'm not going to stop you from telling them, but Ravel. She looked at him with a slight blush. Ravel yeah. Issei Drake wants me to try a phoenix tear to help me. Ravel oh, okay let me go get one. She quickly went to her room and came back with a vial containing the tear and gave it to Issei. Issei deep breath please don't hurt like shit. He took it and for a few seconds it didn't do anything, then he gritted his teeth and shoved a pillow into his mouth to keep him from screaming. The two got scared not knowing what to do, but they saw the marks on his arm slowly became less they didn't go away, but the amount increased. Issei out of breath why must things hurt me like this, Dragon what did it do? Irina I saw the marks on your arms become less, happy I think it worked. Ravel happy it helped. Drake yes, Phoenix girl it did, but know this, it didn't recover the life force it was taking from him, but instead slowed it down enough he's more likely to live after the fight, but for how long I'm not too sure what could happen from now on, but I will monitor it for you eyes. Issei tears running sniff I'm not going to die so quickly sniff I have more time. The two girls came to hug with tears of their own. Irina tearing up I'm so happy it slowed down sniff. Ravel happy see I told you to try a tear, but you said no, it would make it worse. Issei happy you know, it still hurts me a lot. Ravel happy still, see you're fine now. Issei smiling now both of you get to school I won't have you be late. Both alright, fine. Irina gave him a hug and a kiss, and Ravel gave him a big hug. When the door shut Issei took a knee and tried not to scream, but he was still in incredible pain he tried to catch his breath, but he was feeling slightly better and stronger too. Drake it looks like the tear is physically pulling back the effects of the fall and rebuilding what was taken, but for how long it lasts is beyond me, I still think you should relax for the day. Issei out of breath all alright let's have something to eat first, I'm surprisingly very hungry I don't think I ate last night. He got up and went to get some food. Irina and Ravel are both walking to the school feeling happy about what they figured out this morning, a large weight was lifted off of them, but the thought of losing him wasn't too great. Ravel I think we should tell Saji that a phoenix tear managed to slow down the effects for a bit. Irina you're right we should but should we tell the others? Ravel I know you can't get angry per se, but I think I speak for the both of us, they don't deserve anything from us or him right now, I'm not sure if he will forgive them right now. Irina but they still are our friends. Ravel yeah they are but they still hurt him, let's first see how he is after the fight, and if he wants to forgive them then we support him, but right now he kept it secret with only a few people knowing, so let's keep it that way because it's what he wanted right now, and if they ask we can tell them that he's still angry. Irina I guess you're right, but still if they do ask, we should tell them something at least. There was a look of concern on her face, but Ravel had other plans. Ravel we tell them he's still angry. Irina I suppose that works. They walked in silence for a bit, then they heard more footsteps behind them, and saw Riaz and her peerage looking in good spirits and ready for the upcoming game. Riashapi oh morning Irina Ravel, how are you this morning? Irina happy oh I'm great thanks. Ravel happy same with me things have been great lately. They saw a small frown fall on their happy faces, but then their happy faces came back. The Keno happy that's good. Riaz I have a question about Issei, is he ready for tomorrow it's a big day for all of us I would like to know if he's ready or not. Ravel he's ready he's not coming in today though he had something to look into this morning, so he's going to be a bit busy. Irina nodded in agreement and the others nodded with sad faces. Asia said oh I thought we could see him as a form of encouragement before the game. Ravel don't worry about it, you'll see him tomorrow long before the game, so it's alright. They all had smiles again, they had a feeling that he was going to be better towards them again, and maybe they could talk to him again. They got to the school and Riaz and her peerage went to the club room, while Irina and Ravel went to the student council room. They opened the door and saw Saji asleep with Sona's head on his shoulder, also asleep holding onto his arm with a lot of papers scattered around. Ravel Irina before you do anything. She took out her phone took a few pictures and sent them to Issei. Ravel now you can wake them up. Irina walked up to them and made her holy presence known, and it slowly woke them up, they started to wake up and then looked at the position both of them were in, then they quickly put space between them and started blushing at each other. Saji blushing morning Sona. Sona blushing morning Genshuru. Saji how long were we like that? Sona I'm not sure. There was silence then Irina spoke up alerting them they were not alone. Irina I would give or take a few hours at the least, Sona looked so comfy holding you Saji. They looked to the side and saw Irina and Ravel looking at them with smiles on their faces, they both blushed, Saji stood up with a panicked look on his face. Saji panicking don't tell Issei. Ravel smiling don't worry we won't. Sona good, now then is something wrong. Irina well, what do you know? Sona that he's falling, and Riaz and her peerage are to blame, and that he's going to die soon. Ravel pretty much it, but this morning he wanted to try a phoenix tear and it helped him, it took away most of the marks on his arms, not sure about the rest of his body, it seems to have a good effect on him. Saji, well, last night we did find some information about how it helps dragons a lot, but it is not a solution, not yet at least. Lady Seraphil doesn't know much about dragons and is currently looking into it, but so far we all know the same amount about them. They all had concerned looks on their faces and Irina, well, we just wanted you update you guys on the current state of things. I'll let issei know about what you guys found. Sona, how is he holding up? Sona knows the situation was bad and wants to know the full extent of the damage. She knows she said some bad things about him as well, but what Riaz did was way worse. Ravel, we all cried tears of happiness this morning when we saw it's making a good difference. Sona, that's good, at least he seems to be in high spirits. He's not in today, is he? Irina, no, any straining himself could make things worse, and we all know after the fight he's going to be in an even worse state, but all we can do is hope that it turns out alright. Saji, my thoughts exactly, we will handle the knot at school, but you two get to class, you going to be late. Ravel, all alright, see you two later, and don't make out in the council room. The two blushed and Irina and Ravel left, leaving them alone. Their blush grew and they looked at each other and made eye contact. Saji, I need to get to class. Sona, I'll be back during the break to clean up. Sona, blushing, alright Saji. She realized when she woke up she said his first name when normally she always uses his last name. There was a weird feeling spreading around her body. She didn't like it because she didn't know what it is. He bowed and left for his class. Sona, looks like he's becoming more mature in a sense, not bad Saji. In class, Irina was on her phone talking to issei. He told her that he wanted to make food, but then realized that there was no food in the house and he went out on a walk to the market to get some. She smiled at the text, but it didn't go unnoticed. Everything alright, Irina? She looked toward the voice and saw Asia and Zenobia looking at her with curious faces. Irina smiling, yeah, it's alright. Issei wanted something to eat and forgot we didn't buy any food for the house, so he went to go and get some. Asia, hey Irina. Irina, yes Asia. Irina could see the look in Asia's eyes. She was guilt-ridden and she hated herself. Asia, we hurt him a lot, didn't we? Irina, yes you did, sadly. Zenobia, we know saying sorry isn't going to cut it, but we still want to be better and make things right with him, but we are stuck. We can't make any progress when he doesn't talk to any of us but you and Ravel and Roswis. Irina, look, he's still very upset, which is why when you try and talk to him you're relighting the fire you caused, not giving it a chance to die out. Irina knows she can't lie, but it isn't a lie. She knows he's never going to forgive them right now, and maybe in time, but the current truth is that issei still doesn't want anything to do with them, and he probably going to be gone before they even get to say sorry. Zenobia, what do you mean relighting the fire? Irina, it wouldn't help you if I had to explain it to you. Why don't you tell the others and figure it out? The two looked confused but accepted it and went to their desks before class started. The day went on without any problem. Later on, Irina and Ravel went to the orc club room to get Roswis. Once they entered they heard Riaz talking to them. Riaz, all alright, so tonight's training will include Kiba, Keno and Kaneko with Zenobia, and tomorrow morning we can brush up with each other and see how we can make a few changes to the plan. All sound good, Riaz? Irina, wow, you guys really put in a lot of effort. Riaz, we have to, we know we hurt issei, and he's not going to help defend us or help like he used to, so we worked on making ourselves stronger so he won't have to work so hard. Ravel, I'm impressed honestly, it's not like I'm looking at the same group anymore. Keno smiling, thank you Ravel. Irina, anyways, Roswis. Roswis, yes. Irina, issei wants to talk to you about something. He asked us to bring you home with us. Roswis, alright, let's go. Riaz, see you later Roswis, say hi for us if it comes up. The rest of us let's go and finish with the training. They nodded and then they left to go train, and then it was only Roswis, Ravel and Irina. Roswis worried, how is he? Irina, we have made a slight breakthrough. A phoenix tear took away some of the effects. He should make it till at least after the fight, but after that, we aren't so sure how long he's going to be around for. They could see the sad look on her face, but she's keeping her emotions in check before they run wild. Ravel, it's sad, they are working hard to show issei that they can change, and he's probably not going to fully see it. Irina, let's go see him, shall we? They nodded and left the club room. At the apartment. The three walks in to find the dining table set with candles and well-cooked food for all of them. Issei smiles, hey girls. They could see it on his face. He was still tired and pale looking, yet he was still up and about. Irina, darling, what's all this? She greeted him and gave him a kiss, then looked him in the eyes. Issei, thank you for helping me when I needed it. He sat them down and they were amazed by the food. Issei, well, dig and we can talk. They started eating and on the first bite they were even more amazed by the food. Ravel, first you can sing and now you can cook, you're amazing. Issei smiling, thanks, I wanted to treat you girls to something. Things haven't been the most pleasing, but with I can do now I decided to do this for you all. You've kept me from falling further and I love each and every single one of you for it. They all started blushing. Irina was happy she was with him, Ravel was happy to receive his love, and she would cherish it for the years to come. It was a similar feeling for Roswis, she was starting to see him in a different light more now. The first time was when he kept his emotions in check and didn't blow up at anyone and immediately started working on himself. She even noticed that his old tendencies haven't made their appearance in a while. She saw a different side of him again when he cried his heart out to her, when he found out he's going to die and he couldn't change it. And now again a broken soul, even damaged, is still giving out the love, even if it's mutual love. All the different ways she's seen him at now sparked something in her, and she liked the feeling to her. Issei isn't just a warrior, she's seeing him as a man who can only try and be better, while nothing is in his favor, and still treating them like he owes them the world when he doesn't. Issei, hey, look, after tomorrow I don't know what state I'm going to be in tomorrow, but I'm happy to probably spend my last good night with you. 3 smiles. Earl smiling, it's our pleasure. Roswis, I must thank you though, after Odin just left me here you gave me a home and a family that's sure rough around the edges, but they still do care for each other. She smiled at him and he smiled and nodded. Ravel, I must do the same, you honestly changed my life a lot and made me feel like I belong somewhere. I wish you could have shown me more, but I'm glad that I met you and you still beat the crap out of my brother. I'll always cherish the day we had cake and tea on the mountain that day. Issei chuckled and gave her a few head pats which made her smile. Irina, I'll always love you, we have been together since we were young, you were my first and only love and nothing will change that. He took her hand and looked into her violet eyes. Issei, thank you for being part of my life, I'll be smiling back at you from wherever I land. Up smiles. She tightened her grip on his hand and smiled. The next day Issei, Irina and Ravel went to the Orc Club room. Before they came, Ravel asked if he was going to need another tear and he thought about it and nodded. He took it and powered through the pain. They watched the marks go away even more, but not as much as the first time they tried it. Once entered the club room, the others were all waiting for them. It's the first they saw Issei in the state he's in. He's slightly pale and looks very tired, but he's up and walking like nothing is bothering him. Azazel then came and looked at them and saw Issei in very concerning state, but still opened the portal and it took them to the underworld. On the way to the arena, they sat in a carousel with Azazel. Azazel noticed how he wasn't necessarily talking to anyone on his team and that he's grown a bit, but the look on his face showed something was wrong. Azazel, alright, what happened? They all looked at him. Issei, nothing to concern yourself with, old man, it's been handled. They all looked at him with wide eyes. He called Azazel old man. Azazel sarcastic, sure kid, I totally believe you with it, you've hardly spoken to anyone let alone me, and I don't know if anyone has noticed, but you look like shit on top of it. Issei, let me put it this way for you, I'm going to get my beat and I would rather enjoy the comfort of my uninjured body before I have what looks like weeks of recovery ahead of me. Azazel, understandable, and I'm not old. Besides, mercs, go dye your fringe blonde again, I see grays poking through. The team all had to hold in a laugh. They tried their best, but a little slipped out. It calmed the current mood of everyone in the carriage, since no one knew what they wanted to say because they didn't want to upset Issei more. Azazel, for that one, you get extra training. Issei, tired, whatever you say, old man. The carousel finally stopped and they all got out. Riaz, Issei, good luck today, let's do this together. She smiled at him and he looked at her. Issei, sure thing, Riaz. He walked ahead of them while they were happy he was talking to them again. Riaz, happy, he said my name. Akeno, happy, I know, I'm surprised. Riaz, let's do this, I'm even more motivated to make things right with him, maybe he can come back home to us. Time skipped to Issei and Sererg's fight. Issei's aura could be seen oozing off him, his power was skyrocketing, but he was also angry between how much they lost and how much they fought. But Sererg himself taking out Akeno, Kiba and Roswis and the fall of Kaneko in the first round, then Gasper and Zenobia, Issei's anger grew and grew as the rounds went by. He tried his best to not let his aura run, but he could already feel the effects of falling slowly catching up to him. When his round came, he donned his balance breaker, but it didn't get as many cheers as it would have. The balance breaker is fading and has black markings all over it. It looked brittle and old. Riaz herself looked confused along with the Devil Kings, along with Lord Michael and Azazel. They can clearly see something is wrong as Sererg Queen, and his round started. He then let his power rush a bit. He charged toward her and nearly took her head off, but Sererg retired her before he could hit her. Issei, tired, sorry about that, I lost restraint. He had to take a knee. The pain of his falling was spreading and it hurt. Others could see something was wrong with him but didn't know what was actually happening. Sererg, it's alright, I requested to fight you at your best, now shall I call for a battle royal? Issei, gritting his teeth, bring it. He stood up and faced Sererg. The crowd cheered but could see something was a bit wrong with Issei. It was like he was trying to rush the fights, and now, they just called the battle royal, with Issei as Asia Sererg and his new pawn. They stood looking at each other. Riaz stood behind him ready to help defend him. Asia was ready to heal them if needed. Issei, tired, no more tricks. Sererg, what's your little secret? I can see something up with the new guy, he's not human or devil, but his sacred gear power is radiating more. Don't play games, let's get done with it. Sarah I like this version of you. Last time I beat you, let's see what you can do. Regulus rise. The pawn fell to his hands and knees, then got on all fours and slowly turned into a giant golden lion that shook the ground when it roared as his skin tore apart, fully taking its large form. As is oh my god, one of the missing 13 Longinus. Announcer, would you look at that, a missing Longinus has been under our noses the whole time. The crowd cheered in excitement as they all got ready to fight. Issei looked him dead in the eye, ready to strike. He could feel the pain spreading around his body. He bit down on his teeth and slowly pulled himself together to make sure that he doesn't lose focus on the person in front of him. Riaz Issei, take my cousin Asia and I will handle Regulus. Issei tired, alright. He bit down on his teeth and burst off. Regulus charged towards Issei and tried to get in his way, but he kicked it hard enough to the side and started attacking Sarerg. The two started a fist fight, creating shockwaves with each collision of their fists. But the last strike pain shot through the Issei's body and he wasn't ready for the hit, and Sarerg hit him and knocked him off his feet and drilled him into the ground and continued hitting him repeatedly in the face. Issei looked to his side and saw Riaz covered in blood and Asia a distance away looking at him in fear. With each hit, it was like a shock through Issei's body. His blood started to pool and he could hear voices in his head. Slam. Rainer, would you die for me? Slam. Riaz, I should have married Riser. Slam. The Keno, is it that hard just to say her name? He really messed up this time. We don't have time for mess-ups like this. Slam. Asia, I'm normally one to side with him, but he's wrong this time. He was being stupid and even I know that. Slam. Zenobia, they really called me thick, but he's worse. Why aren't those saying anything? Are they staying mutual? But can't they see he's in the wrong? They should know better. Slam. Kaneko, good for nothing. Slam. Greg, it's time. Ice, good luck. The onlookers watched in horror as Issei was getting beaten senseless. Irina had tears in her eyes, and the others struggled to watch Issei get beat like this. Sarerg was about to land one more hit on him, but was blasted back by a large amount of power. The red aura spread around the arena and they watched as Issei stood up and screamed in pain. They watched as his skin tore apart, horns grew out of his head, spikes grew out of his back, and his wings grew larger than they had seen before. His pooled blood started to run back up into his body and his scales shot through his arms, face, back and legs. Red markings spread around his whole body, lining certain spots. The skin on his hands burnt off till clear bone was shown, then turned into claws, then recovered themselves in scales and horns. They watched in horror, amazement and shock, watching him turn into the creature before them. He took his hand and shoved it into his chest, pulled out the chest pieces from his body and crushed them in front of everyone. The hole in his chest closed up and his aura got even stronger and spread around everywhere. He let off an ear-shattering screech and caught a light and ran towards Sarerg, eyes glowing red with a tint of green, and then hit him once, sending him flying into the distance. His scales turned black and a tail grew out of him and he used it to grab Sarerg and slam him down into the ground, then chuck him again. As he threw Sarerg, he threw him forward, and in that same movement he flipped forward and with his tail made a trail of fire that knocked him further. He growled and the heat coming off him was rising. Riaz and Asia could only watch in horror for what Issei turned into. Regulus then charged him and bit him, but it didn't faze him. He grabbed the golden lion by the head, slammed it down onto the ground, then chucked it towards Sarerg. Sarerg, what is this? He's turned into some monster. Why are my legs shaking? I need to enjoy this to its fullest. He touched Regulus, and the lion turned into an armor and spread around his body, coating him in golden armor. His aura rose, making him stronger. He was about to charge Issei, but he disappeared. Issei turned to ash, then appeared next to him and hit him hard enough to break the sound barrier, sending him flying again, and covered his arms in fire and hit him repeatedly, breaking the ground and pushing Riaz and Asia back with each blow. He let off a screech again and grabbed Sarerg by the neck. He tried hitting Issei in the chest with his legs, but it didn't do anything. Issei hit him in his gut multiple times, with the last one sending him again. The red scales turned black and then his aura turned into one of fire and he hit Sarerg back into the ground, shattering his armor. Stood over Sarerg, breathing heavily with fire embers. Leaving his body soon, Issei's aura fell and so did his scales, but the black markings stayed on his body and the fell over and retired. Leaving Riaz and Asia in the ring, everyone was shocked and sat in silence for nearly 5 minutes by the outcome, and slowly they all turned to cheers and celebration for the outcome of the fight. Everyone that is close to Issei was worried for him. He had never done that, and this was new for him. It looked like it changed him. To top it all off, he crushed Riaz's evil pieces in front of them. He just freed himself in front of all of them. When he retired, Issei had passed out and was taken to an infirmary with Sarerg. Issei was inside his head looking around. When he opened his eyes, he found himself within a white space. He knew it was the inside of the gear. He held his head in confusion. Issei confused. What happened? Dryag, your body was slowly dying and it was going into shock. Issei I don't remember much, I remember there being pain before he hit me, but then it kind of went blank, I don't remember anything at all. Drake well I transformed your body and made you a full-blood dragon, you're not bound by the Redeet anymore, and you not considered a devil anymore, you're a heavenly dragon now. Issei ha interesting. Drake well wake up, you have people waiting to talk to you, we can talk about your changes later. Everything became fully white and he found himself in a hospital room, his body ached from the pain, he slowly sat up and held his head and shook it side to side. Issei in pain, oh god I feel like crap, what the hell man. Sarah you get used to this feeling quickly, well done Issei, you showed me an amazing fight, you have my gratitude. He looked to his side and saw Sarah covered in band-aid and a cast on his arm. Issei in pain, geez who beat you up? Sarah you did, you fulfilled your promise, you gave me a good fight, you have my gratitude. Issei I don't even know what I did. They both looked at each other confused, which made them laugh and caused them to grunt in pain, then Surziches walked in along with Grafia. Surziches happy my brother, you did us all proud. Grafia you really showed true courage out there, but something was wrong that whole fight, it looked like you were in constant pain. He looked at the people in the room with him, took a deep breath and looked a bit sad about it. Issei look I need to tell you too something Sarah can know as well, it's about my current state from earlier in the fight and why I look the way I did. Issei told them everything from Riaz and her peerage turning on him, how Riaz even stated multiple times to his face and to Sona how Rizer would have been a better option for her, the three devils' eyes went wide in disbelief. He continued and told them how dragons can fall and either become evil or die, and he was on the path of death and the use of magic was slowly killing him faster, and how he didn't think he would survive after this fight. He spoke about how it affected him worse when his parents took Ria's side and turned on him and he moved out with Irina and Ravel. He then explained that he doesn't know what he did during the fight, but Drake used a spell to turn him into a dragon, which had a very good chance of killing him on the spot. Surziches I'm speechless, not only did you free yourself and live, you were dealing with all that, I don't know what to say. He sat down in disbelief processing what he just learned. Grafia came up to him and just hugged him. Grafia you know we would have done anything to make sure you're feeling better and help sort it out, you could have come to us. Sarah we could have postponed the fight too, it wasn't that serious to have it today, it would have been no problem at all to change it all. Issei look I know you would have done a lot to help me, but I still truly don't know if I can trust any of them at all, they became the death of me and I still don't know if I'm healed or not, and I know for a damn fact I don't want to see any of them right now, I would only allow Irina, Ravel and Roswis, and they made sure I was okay and tried everything they could to make sure I'm alive. Maybe Sona and Saji too, but regardless I don't know what to feel towards them right now, I still feel anger, but not the same way I felt before the fight, it's just a lot going on and I'm exhausted from it all really. Surziches, Grafia and Sarah felt bad for him, this was a serious matter, he could have been killed because of them and he's been dealing with it by himself and took a very mature route. They saw scales grow on his arms, green gems came out and they heard a voice talk. Greg he hasn't had a lewd thought or spoken about S for a few days, now he's been working out a bit more and looking after himself with the angle and the Phoenix girl, I looked into it, the fall has completely been negated and your dragon powers, abilities and tendencies will only get stronger with time, but relax for now, you're drained of energy. Issei okay cool. He laid back down and took a deep breath, a look of relief on his face, they gave him a small smile and he returned the smile and the mood started to feel better, they watched as the scales left and the markings that were on his body darker than what they were. Surziches Issei I'm sorry she did that to you, but ask us for anything and we will make it happen. Issei I have nothing for you to do for me, but I'll let you know if figure something out, let me work things out, but what else did you come here for? Surziches smiling well it was about your promotion, but you are not a devil anymore. Issei surprised regardless I got to mid-class. Grafia well, high class actually you're at the right power level, but you can do as you please now actually. Surziches I'm proud of you, but given the circumstances we can't really award you the rank unless you want to be a devil again. Issei I don't know actually. Sarah well congrats Issei, the first reincarnated human to reach high class in less than a year and still kick my wild dying, not everyone can do that, it's an accomplishment, regardless you still did it as a devil before you freed yourself. Issei looking down cool. Surziches you don't seem to be particularly happy about this. Issei well being high class was to not bring Riaz standing down by her being engaged to low class, but with things now I don't know what to do anymore, I have a new start that I can start a new adventure now, but I don't know what to do. Surziches rest now brother you deserve it, see you around you too Sarah well done your fight was amazing. Sarah nodded and Surziches and Grafia both left them to relax and recover. Sarah want to talk more about what happened or is this a bit of an open wound? Issei that wound just started healing, I'll tell you in time, how about over a drink? Sarah you drink, but it's good with me now, let's get some rest. Issei blacking out, sure thing man. But Serziches and Grafia after leaving the room. Serziches, I can't believe her honestly, I'm really disappointed, I expected better. Grafia, worry not my love, I'm sure issei will cover it, but let's not let her have the benefit of the doubt, perhaps give her a bit of a wake-up call, I know you love your sister, but she's gone too far this time. Serziches agreed, I spoiled her too much and this was the outcome. They heard footsteps and saw Riaz and her peers walking towards Issei's room, they saw the two standing by the door, Riaz, and the others had some band-aids on them, but not as bad as Sererg. Serziches, don't go inside, he's asleep and can't talk to someone who is unconscious. There was a tone in his voice that struck a chord in all of them, even Irina, they all found it weird that he was hostile toward them. Riaz freaked but. Serziches angry, I said don't go inside. They felt his anger and felt uneasy about it, it was only rising the longer he looked at Riaz. Riaz, fine, we will wait here. Irina, but I'm going. They watched as Serziches' facial expression changed to a softer one and calmer tone. Serziches, go right ahead. They opened the door and let her walk in, followed by Roswis and Ravel, and they closed the door. Riaz, brother. Serziches, I know what you said, who knows, maybe Rizer will still be willing to marry you, Riaz, he's clearly a better suitor for you. The and Grafia walked away, leaving the others shocked by what they tried to keep under control. Fiba shocked, oh no. Riaz tearing up, no 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 no, this can't happen, please no. Riaz slowly started to panic, her heart was racing, she didn't want her brother to know, because she thought she could fix it, but it was too late, the others comforted her, but it was no use. Inside the hospital room. The girls walked in and found both Sererg and Issei deep asleep. Irina walked up to Issei's bed and smiled watching him sleep, he looked better than before, but still looked a bit sick, but they were happy he was alive and still. Irina smiling, he's out cold. Issei half asleep, glad you're here my love, guess who's going to live. He grabbed Irina's hand on instinct and fell back to sleep, she blushed and smiled along with Roswis and Ravel, they had small smiles on their faces, happy to see he was going to recover. Irina tearing up, I have more time, sniff. Ravel, it's good to see he's getting better, I'll give him a tear later to fix him up a bit. Roswis, hopefully after the festival things clear up for the better. Irina tearing up, sniff, I hope so too. Few days after the raiding game and some light recovery, Issei woke up in his bed feeling great, he opened his eyes and saw the nice bright light and saw his girlfriend sleeping next to him with a smile on her face while she rested her head on his chest, cuddling him, enjoying his warmth. Issei, I have more time, I must be super lucky, but I have more time with her. Great partner, we still need to figure out what else you can do, it was the first time I've ever done the spell and it worked, so I don't know what to expect. Issei, well, I feel great, actually better than before I started falling, it's like I can feel the power flowing through my body without restraint or blockage, like my potential was unleashed. Greg, your body has gotten far stronger, almost like you weren't dying a few days ago, magic reserves, endurance, muscle mass, everything is growing, I'm finding it very interesting watching the changes happen, I wonder what the next fight is going to be like. Issei, me too, over the past few days I'm getting fragments of what I did and I must say it's super cool, but tell me something, what should we try and accomplish now, I'm free now, we can honestly do as we please now, no devils using me, we free. Greg, indeed, I also have put some thought into it, with the way things are looking now you should be past peak performance in a few more days, but I'm fine with anything, perhaps enjoy life for a change, not fighting every other day. Issei, speaking of which, what's my life force looking like, perhaps we can get that fixed first. Greg, still the same after you use the drive, I agree we can have that fixed, you never know, that could be a nice start to a new beginning for both of us. Issei, there are 2 sage users with the experience that I need, but who? Greg, go to the fox in Kyoto, if we go to that black cat, it might turn into a fight with the rest of her team, even if she is willing to help you. Issei, I'll talk to Azazel by the end of the week about taking a leave of absence to go see Yasaka. He then decided to have some fun and just held Irina in her sleep and she instinctively snuggled up to him, just trying to be closer to him. After a few minutes he kissed her forehead and got out of bed, he got dressed and went to check on Ravel and found her sleeping soundly, still he made a note and left it by their phones about where he's going and will be back later. He then walked outside feeling free, the relief of not dying so soon was a huge weight off his shoulders and the fact he doesn't need to answer to anyone anymore was a new feeling he could get used to. He went to a music shop to go get 2 guitars for the sake of playing an instrument again. He wondered which 2 should he get, a normal one or electric or banjo, ukulele, a sitar, or even just one of them. As he walked to the store, he saw a dealership with a few nice cars and saw one that caught his eyes in particular. Issei, I was told I'll be getting my shares of the show when I either reach high class or when I turn 18 and I reached high class first, so I guess I can get me a car. That old man didn't teach me how to drive, so before I can get my license, let's see what lessons are looking like for the time being, then when I get the money, then I can go get it, hopefully it's still here when the time comes. He continued walking, then arrived at the music store. He saw a classic guitar and he knew he had to get one, so he took it off the shelf. Then when he looked at electric guitars, he went for a black one with a fire-looking pattern on it. He took it with a small amp and all the cables he will need to use it. As he was paying for it, he heard a group of guys worried about something. What are we going to do with him out? We can't perform anymore. GUI2 we can't cancel last minute. We have already spent the money for the concert and stadium and it's past the date to return the tickets too. GUI3 I still think we should opt for a temp replacement, then we can worry about it later. We can even pay them his portion for their contributions for the night. They sound beyond stressed and panicked, so issei decides to go see if he can help them out. Issei, is everything alright? You guys sound stressed. We are beyond stressed. Our lead singer and guitarist decided to get involved with the wrong girls last night and he was killed. No, we need a replacement singer and player, so we are in the market for a temporary one. You wouldn't happen to be a singer, would you? I can clearly see you can play. Issei, yeah, I can sing. I guess you guys found me at the right time. I'm a fast learner and good with my hands, so I can play tunes extremely fast and I can sing various amounts of songs in different genres. GUI2 came to hug him, fake crying. GUI2 fake crying. God has sent us a blessing, maybe he won't get angry at us this time around. Issei, so, want to go and practice now and see if I can pick up on these songs quick enough. GUI3 I like where your head is a kid, let's go. Issei, alright, let me just tell my girlfriend that I'm going to be out a bit longer than I thought, don't need her worrying about me. Happy wife happy life. Issei, my point exactly. They walked to the studio and Issei was amazed by the equipment in the place and the various instruments that he could all play. Right, first off we also are the band for and along with, so we are going to be playing a bunch of songs from those groups, but now we might need a name change as a group because our friend died. Issei smiling, oh bring it on, I'm just a huge fan of all those groups and now I'm your lead singer and guitarist. Issei took the electric guitar and played one of their most popular songs and still sang it too. He was slightly off key here and there, but it was possible, very possible for him to sing for them. GUI3 we may not need to make you a temp, you hit most of the notes perfectly, only one or two were off, this might be a perfect fit. Issei, let's see for group 2, I know she's singing and I'll be handling the guitar for her. He played the guitar to one of their other group singers' songs and he hit that completely perfectly. GUI2 I'm calling the manager to forget making you a temporary replacement, you're definitely not leaving after this. I agree man, you have talent and skill, why not stay with us for a few years, then down the line you can start branching off with your own music or even in the beginning you can skyrocket with your skills. Issei surprised, really you let me do all this? GUI3 it's difficult to find musicians such as yourself that can sing and play 98% of the time, it's either one or the other and we can help you reach your peak and then higher than your peak and help guide you from doing something that wouldn't be good, it's a hard world we bringing you into. Issei, then I'm honored, I have school tomorrow, I end around 3 p.m, can we practice again? For sure kid, don't stress about it, you can leave. Oh wait, give us your number so we can contact you in the unlikely event we need to do it a bit later and you arrive and no one is here. Issei smart. They exchanged details and Issei was given the number of the manager, so he knew when he calls him. Issei took his things and then went back home. He wasn't going to tell Irina or Ravel about what happened, he wanted it to be a surprise for them, they could use it. He smiled as he walked home. When he got back home, he opened the door and found both of them watching TV waiting for him. Irina darling, where did you go? She came to greet him and gave him a kiss. Issei happy, that's going to be a huge surprise, trust me. Irina happy, alright. Ravel, but what you got there? She took one of them and opened them and saw it's a guitar. Issei, I decided to start playing again and then to top it all off I'll be singing too. Irina blushing happy, really. She pulled him into a beer-crushing hug and smiled, happy that the old him is coming back and even happier that he's living again. Ravel, this is an amazing thing Ice, but I do have a question, during the game you did something that you've never done before, what was it? Issei, I guess I didn't really explain what happened, alright let's sit and have some tea and biscuits. The three of them set up everything they needed and afterward they sat down with the two girls looking at Issei. Issei, alright, do you remember when I was blasted back from Sarayerg and he was beating me repeatedly? The two nodded. Issei, well Drake made a spell to turn me into a dragon, it's how and why I pulled out the chess pieces, I wasn't bound by Rias anymore, so I'm free. I'm still not sure what my power is going to be like, but I'm not a devil anymore. Ravel. He looked at her and she looked despondent and sad. Issei, I know you were going to be part of my peerage, but I still need a manager. Smiles. He saw her eyes light up again and she had a smile on her face. Issei, there she is, I'm still famous in the underworld, so I'm going to need you around for a long time and I did make a promise to look after you and I intend to do so. He messed up her hair and she just accepted it with a big smile on her face. Irina, so your transformation was you becoming fully a dragon. Excited, it was so cool, you have to show us what you can do now. I don't care about the markings that look like tattoos, I still want to see what you can do. She had a massive smile on her face, and her eyes were sparkling so bright that it made Issei's heart skip a beat. He just took a sip of his tea, then spoke. Issei, well, I'll do that in time. Drake said to not do anything for a few more days. He wants to see how my reserves are looking like now, and they are already higher than it was before I was dying. Irina, that's amazing, Ice, I'm happy for you. Smiling. Issei, thank you. Smiling. Bravo, but what about the others? They desperately trying to talk to you, and I've been meaning to ask, do you still even love them anymore? Irina and Ravel looked at him thinking about it. Issei, you know what, I don't think I'm really going to talk to them much anymore. Maybe, I don't know. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Plus you don't stop loving someone, it's a habit, and I need to figure out if it was lust or love first. They could see he really wasn't sure about it, but decided to support him since it's what they agreed to a while ago. Irina, but what about me? Issei, it's love, I know it's love. There's just this feeling when I'm around you and I can't get enough of it. I love being around you, I can be myself and don't need to worry about what others think. When I'm with you, then nothing else matters. Smiles. They could see it on his face, he was being genuine about it's how he really feels around her, and it just made her feel his love even more. She blushed and held his hand, and Ravel had more teasing material for Irina, but what she didn't know was that Issei is watching her too and has some teasing material on her too now. Issei, so yay, that's all it is. Ravel, well, however you feel about them, I still support you and your decisions, but I will say if it's stupid though, can't have my client doing stupid things like he is. Issei, oh really now, if I didn't know any better you were checking me out a few moments ago. Ravel, blushing a flustered, it's not like that, it's just me looking at you in a general sense. Even if I was looking at you like that, it wouldn't be professional at all. Her blush was going crazy, it was almost as bright as Ria's hair, and her breathing and trying to break eye contact with him was good enough to make them start laughing at her antics. Issei, long geez, you're easy to mess with, you know that. He just brought her into a side hug and she had a few tears in her eyes and was pouting. Ravel pouted, mumbling, Baka Issei. Issei, what was that? Ravel flustered, Baka Issei. The rest of the day for them was spent having fun and relaxing. They had to admit it was a bit of a hectic time during these past few days, so they're going to enjoy the rest of the weekend. Later in the Haidu mansion. Mickey, it's been a quiet day, hasn't it? Ria's, it has, mother, but what do we do now? He's completely left us, we can't even talk to him at school. He either just ignores us or we don't see him at all. It's almost like he doesn't exist anymore. He didn't even come by during the festival. Both Mickey and Gauro could see it, they were sad and they no one but themselves to blame for this. Gauro, I know my son, but this is new, he's never held a grudge for this long, and to top it all off, he's never left home. The worst he's done was just lock himself in his room and sit alone for a few hours, but then he always came back to us later that day. But he's moved out and only took clothing, not even any of his manga or porn, he just left as it is untouched for a while. Knock knock. Zenobia, I'll go get it. She got up to go and open the door while the others sat and thought. Mikendo, we really hurt him a lot this time, but how do we fix it? Zenobia, Issei. It shocked them that he was here at the house. They all quickly shot up and saw him walk in, not even looking at them. He walked in and went straight upstairs, his looks and attitude only showed irritation and frustration. Gauro, confused, did I speak too soon? Ria, Zenobia, what's going on? Zenobia, shocked, I don't know, he just showed up and there is another person with him, but he said he's going to wait outside. Kaneko, weird. He came downstairs with his boxes full of poor manga, everything in one arm. They watched him walk outside and give it to the other man he's with, and the man handed him a huge stack of cash. They shook on it and the man took the boxes and then drove off, and Issei came back to the house. Mickey's son. Issei, I don't want to hear it, here. He took a portion of the cash and put it in Mickey's hands. Issei, here's the payment for looking after me. I'll be handling my own finances from now on. Now here is something for your troubles, and you only have yourselves to blame for this. He then bowed and left them, shocked by what he said, and Mickey just started shedding tears. She never wanted this, she didn't want this at all, she just cried her heart out. Her baby boy really left them. Rias, we need to fix this, let's go see my brother, mother, father, we will be back. In the underworld in the Gremory territory. Then Alana, oh my, this is sad, well maybe we can adopt him. Zeodix and make him a Gremory Baylor Lucifuge. Grafia, why don't we ask him? There is even the off chance he might go to Seraphol as well. Remember, he went to her instead of us when he was dying, so perhaps their initial relationship has improved to what it was. There's also the off chance he goes to the Phoenix family. Surzich's, it's sad honestly, and was I thinking about it, he's not even a devil anymore. You all saw the evil pieces get ripped out and then he crushed them. He's not part of Ria's peerage anymore. I don't even think she realized it. Zeodix, deep breath, I'm very upset with my daughter, I suggest a punishment of sorts. Serzich's father, but what punishment? It's punishment enough that he doesn't talk to her anymore and doesn't even want to look at her, and when she learns that he's not part of her peerage anymore, she'll only suffer more if she doesn't know already. The door opened to show Milika's walking in with Riaz behind him. Milika's happy aunt Riaz is here. Riaz and her peerage walked through the door. Serzich's want to know when your wedding to Rizer is set. Riaz wanted to get upset but put it aside, she knows her brother is upset with her. Riaz, no, that's not why we are here, we want to apologize to issei, but haven't had a chance to talk to him, whenever we try he leaves instantly, and if we want to make things any better, we need to know what he is feeling, so I wanted to ask you if you could call him here and tell him why I don't want him to hate you too like he does us, and I don't want it to feel like a betrayal towards him. Then Alana looks like someone is thinking about their actions. Riaz's mother, we have made a mistake and we want to fix it even if I never talk to us again. Serzich's, so be it. He made a magic circle and called issei. Serzich's, hello issei, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but it's the only way they think you will talk to them, but they want to know how you are feeling, and they will listen. They watched as he put down and a small ball of fire started to take shape in the living room and then became larger and issei came out of it, they could see his build looking larger and he even looks healthier than before. They could trace his magic, but it seems different, his hair took a darker tone when they got a good look and his eyes seem more red than golden like they used to. He was in a compression shirt and baggy pants and they could still see some embers burning off his body. Serzich's, you look 1000 times better. Issei, thanks, I'm feeling better too, hello mother, father Grafia Milikas, how are you today? Zeodix, disappointed honestly, but after this I wish to talk to you about something. Issei, sure, I've completed the things I wanted to do for the day. Arena and Ravel are busy finishing their sets at the gym, so I'll see them at home, and I sold my porn and started doing other things I've put off for too long. Then Alana, why did you sell it, my child? Issei, better mince it set, and I don't really care about what they have to say, I'm over it, I could really care less. His words struck them hard, they didn't expect him to be this cold to them. Isa, tearing up. Issei, let me explain something to you lot about dragons, but first, what do you actually know about them? His eyes started to look like they were glowing, they could see the anger in his eyes. The Keno, they are emotional creatures and their emotions are far greater than ours, oh no. The full impact of their actions hit them like a truck, he was suffering more than them, it started to make sense to why he didn't want to see them or talk to them. Riaz, issei. Issei, hold it Riaz, let me finish, all of you just listen. When a dragon loses his mates, or when a dragon's mate turns on it, do you know what happens? They shook their heads. He held up 2 fingers in front of his chest. Issei, one of 2 things can happen, the first is that the dragon gets stronger and becomes evil, and ask Serzich's when he fought Drag in his full form, now imagine me at a higher power level than that. Serzich's, you could wipe out the whole underworld in seconds and no one but a stronger dragon will stop you. Issei, exactly, and since I would have been emotional in that state, the other dragons would be on my side and no one could stop us, not even the Devil Kings. Do you see where I'm going with this? They silently nodded. Issei, the second thing is death. When a dragon loses its mates, it falls and slowly dies an agonizing death. They all looked at him, shocked, confused and threatening to start crying. Issei, symptoms of that fall are black marks around its body, looking sick and pale, can't use magic to heal the body and becomes completely weak. Guess which one I had? They started crying looking at him. Issei, at the time Ross was Serena and Ravel knew, I didn't tell anyone because I didn't need anyone's pity party and fake tears, especially your group, if you figured out that you killed me during the game. I still fought against Sererg with a dying body and then when I transformed, I freed myself from the fallen you. He pointed at Riaz and some of the embers started burning again, causing him to slowly start smoking. Riaz crying, why from me? Issei, I ripped out your evil pieces and crushed them into dust. I'm no longer a devil and you can no longer control me, neither can the Devil Kings, but since they my friends ill help them, so they have nothing to worry about. They all broke down crying at his feet. Riaz screaming, I'm sorry, I was stupid, I was horrible to you, I didn't treat you fairly, I deserve to be punished. Issei, what punishment would even be suitable? I'm sure your family agrees me just being away from you is punishment enough, but I'm not evil, I'd rather get this over with. Relighting the fire each time isn't doing anyone any good. Zenavia agreeing, so the fire meant your mood towards us. Issei, yes, and at that point, you kept relighting it, making things worse for me. Only towards the end did things better, by it was too late. Now are we done? I want to go home to the people that actually care for me. Riaz crying, please no, give us another chance. Isaiah crying, I promise I won't hurt you again. Kaneko crying, I won't be as hard on you like I was before. Akeno crying, I won't let anyone hurt you like we did. Zenavia crying, I promise to think before I speak. Issei, prove it, because right now I have thought about forgiving any of you. Akena crying, but. Issei, we done here? He stepped away from them and calmed himself down before he did something he regrets. Say now then Zetches, I want you to give them some training because I'm not going to be in their fights anymore. Zetches, sure, I'll see what I have done for them. Say cool now then I'm off, I'll see you all around. He opened the fire portal and as he was about to walk through, he was stopped. Then Alana say wait, we would like to adopt you, we heard about your family issues and want to help. Zeodix, even Graphia wants to adopt you into her family as her brother. Say so I'll be a Grimory Bail or Lucifuge. Graphia, that's right. Say can I have a few days to think on it, it's a big thing to think about and I want to be sure about it. Zetches, take your time brother, it's alright. Say cool, see you all around, enjoy the rest of your day. He bowed and fell through his portal leaving them. Then Alana, happy, I'm happy he still sees me as his mother. As he will be your son again, I may not be his number one anymore, but I will bring him home as your son-in-law. Zetches, I'll believe it when I see it. He got up and left along with Graphia. Back with Issei. He teleported back to his apartment door and stretched his back. Issei, man, today was productive, I even got to speak my mind towards them. He opened the door to his apartment and found Ravel and Irina on the floor crying in pain. Issei, oh, come on, it wasn't so bad. Irina, when injuries it was, I can't feel my body. Ravel whining, not even my phoenix abilities are working well anymore. Issei, it'll get better, I promise. Both whiningly's I call eyes who hurts themselves like this on purpose. Ravel winningy, no crazy people. Issei, oh, please that wasn't anything. Irina whining, at least helps us get to the couch please. Issei, sure thing, I don't mind. He picked them up without any effort and they just dangled from his arms like they were jelly, he placed them down and crouched in front of them. Issei, want me to run a bath for you both? Irina, tired please. Issei, I'll make it a bubble bath. He went to run the bath for them. Ravel, tired, what did we do to have him in our lives? Irina, we loved him, that's why. Ravel, blushing, who said I love him? Her eyes darted to the bathroom and then back to Irina and a large blush covered her already red cheeks. Irina, please, it's written all over your face. Ravel, fine, but I want to give you more time with him before I start doing anything, I want to know him like you know him before anything. Issei in the bathroom, hey, your bath is ready. Both coming. Over the next few weeks Issei secretly went to go and practice with his new band members. After school they all thought that he was training due to the fact his physique was getting better and he was looking happier, he even had a new spree of confidence, but he was doing that while getting his license in order to drive a car. In class, Irina, Zenobia, Asia, Roswas, Akia and Kadis were all having a small chat during the break. Akia, Irina, what happened to your man, he's become so much better in everything. Irina smiling, I don't know but I support everything he's doing, all I know is that he has started singing again. The girls were surprised that he can even sing. Asia, he's singing. Irina, when we at home I hear him singing now and again, he doesn't realize it but he sings when he's doing almost anything. Kadis, where is he now? Roswas, he asked to go and talk to Azazel about some time off. What to say? He's currently taking a test and Zetches, Azazel and Zeodix are currently watching him take a test. Zetches, I'm worried about him. Zeodix, you too. Azazel, I'm the same, after you told me what happened I couldn't believe it myself, but I think you would agree with me, I feel like shit due to the fact that we saw him in his dying state and we couldn't see it, nor could we have helped him if we did see it. Zetches, I agree, I do feel bad that he couldn't find the strength to come and talk to us, but on another note, I'm happy to see his progress, he's becoming a man. I've been told by Serafol from Sona that he's managed to bring all his grades up decently as well, and he hasn't been doing anything lustful in a while, it's like he matured at the right time. Azazel, you and I can bother agree that near death is the best teacher. Zetches, oh, I agree, but the thought of him turning evil and attacking us and being stronger than the Red Dragon, imagine the death and carnage that would be left behind. Azazel, worse than the war between the clans, but then again, he makes us all work together, so your sister. Zetches, actually, making the attempts to make things right, I'm surprised honestly, she been asking me tips on to make him see her like he did before. Azazel, and now he's getting his license. Zeodix, you think he wanted his brotherly figure and both fatherly figures with him for if he passes. Zetches, then I'm honored, actually he may not notice it, but it's something normal to do and think about it lately, we have been a bit stressed. Azazel, here. Zeodix, look here, he comes, he looks happy. Azazel and Issei, I passed, I can officially drive. He had a smile on his face and showed them his new license. Zetches, congregates brother. Zeodix, congrats son. Azazel, well done kid. They all came to either give him a hug or pat his back. Issei, thanks guys, smiles, now I need a car and I already have one that I want. Zetches, do I have access to my funds? Zetches, you had access for about a week now, I was meant to tell you but didn't have the time. Issei, sweet, want to come with me to go get it? Azazel, oh, hell yay. They four men went to go and find the dealership. On arrival they saw a lot of very sporty cars. Zeodix, which one caught your eye? Ice. Issei, that dark blue one in the corner. Azazel, damn, that's a nice ride. Issei, well then let's go blow their minds by buying this cash. Surziches, this is going to be interesting. Sales rep, hi there, what can I help you with for today? Issei, I would like to buy that car. Rep, oh, I'm sorry young lad, maybe in a few years I could sell it to you. I doubt you have the funds to purchase that vehicle, it's just not possible. The three adults with him only had raised eyebrows. Issei, I currently earn 3.3 million a day, that's 188 million a year. I doubt your yearly salary makes a dent in mine, so are you going to be rude to a customer, or are we going to handle this like men and make a sale today? Rep, my apologizes sir, let me go get the paperwork for you. He quickly walked away, his ears turning red from embarrassment. Azazel, wouldn't have done it better myself kid. Issei, but you would let that power get to your head way too quickly. Surziches, I'm confused, you have more than that amount, money is so inflated in the underworld it doesn't make much sense. Issei, well, you are used to the underworld ways, I'm sure given enough time the Devil Kings could fix the currency down there, but right now us four men can buy out every major company and make the world go bankrupt. Zeodix, interesting, I must say humans make life seem very interesting. The rep came back and had a different look on his face and was better mannered and placed the documents in front of Issei. Rep, here you go sir, you need to sign here and here, then add your details here and banking details here and here, then once we see the payment on our side the car is yours. Issei, okay, how much is it anyways? Rep, about 2.3 million. He filled out the information and they saw the payment get approved on the screen. Issei, not bad for my first car. Azazel, you did only just get your license too, but you passed extremely well. Rep, alright, here are your keys and card for the car, it's wireless, so you need it in your pocket or close to the car for it to work, same goes for the card, put it in your wallet and you can drive. Issei, anything else? Rep, here is your gift basket complimentary as well. The rep handed the basket to Issei and it was full of expensive chocolates and sweets with some savory items as well. Issei took the basket and watched them push the car away from the showroom. Issei, cool, where are they taking it? They watched as they pushed the car away around the corner. Rep, to clean it do a few checks and to make sure nothing is wrong with it, so we clean it and mainly check the tires, it has stood in the same spot for a few months, so we need to see for any soft spots on the tires. You may wait in our waiting room for your car, someone will bring you some coffee and some snacks while you wait and you may feel free to enjoy some of the items in the gift basket while you wait as well. He shrugged and looked at the three adults with him. Issei, alright then. They sat down and waited and made some small talk. While talking about some issues in the underworld, Issei decided to send some pictures to Irina. At the Hideout mansion. Mickey, so, how's living with Issei and Irina and Ravel? Mickey had come from the kitchen and placed down some tea and snacks for them while they were visiting. Irina, pretty good, no complaints, even though I share a bed with him, he has a pillow wall between us most nights and when not he lets me cuddle him while we sleep and he hasn't done anything weird, I'm enjoying it. She smiled and some of the girls felt bad they missed sleeping in the same bed as him and it's been a few months since they had a chance to experience it. Bekendo, if you don't mind me asking, how have the dates been with him? Irina, when it's just me and him we go to a lot of places and do things we both want to do, like on our first date he wanted to go bowling and whoever won got to choose where we went next. Zenobia, did you win? Irina, yup, smiles, we went to a laser park and played laser tag and when all three of us go out to hang out with Ravel, he makes sure both of us are having a good time. Ria's, wow, he's changed a lot, visibly sad. They could see the guilt on Ria's face, she was the main reason he's not here right now and they doubt he's coming back anytime soon. Irina, didn't you do stuff like that when you went out on dates with him? Ria's blushing, I mainly pulled him into lingerie stores and made him look at me in different sets or asked which is his favorite. Bekendo, the same with me. Zenobia, we never had an official one. Asia, we went out to eat at a dinner and we went to arcade. Kaneko, I've never had one. Roswis, but I thought you all dated him, it only sounds like he dated three of you and the rest were just around, how did that dynamic work? Ria's, I've thought about it, it was really rushed, which is probably why it didn't end so well, we didn't have time to settle with anything. Ravel, okay, besides the hopeless romantic here and myself, who here actually knows the true essay? Silence. Ravel, not even you two. Mickey, sadly, after Irina and her family left, we weren't particularly the best parents, which is why he went to all the porn, I think. Auro, I just hope I still have some fatherly things to do with him before it's too late. Irina, he didn't say where he's going this morning, he didn't even come to school. Roswis, now that you mention it, after he told me he's going to go and talk to Azazel about a leave of absence for the rest of the day, Azazel himself wasn't around either, sad I had my lunch alone. Kaneko, there it's alright, but aren't you friends with the other teachers though? Ross was no, I'm new, and I think the female teachers don't like me very much because I'm still so young and all, and I avoid the male teachers because they are horny most times. Ria's fair enough actually. Buzz buzz. Irina who's messaging me. She took out her phone and when she read the messages she smiled. They could all see the smile on her face and got curious. Nikki, who is it? Irina. Irina, oh, it's issei, look, he got his license this morning, smiling. She showed them the picture of him holding his license, and as Isil Surziches and Ziotics was with him smiling, they didn't see it the last time they saw him, but his canines have gotten super large and look sharp, but they all know beside Mickey and Gauro that his features are kicking in and it looks good on him too. Gauro said, oh, he got his license, I didn't even know he had his learners. Mika said, we really lost touch with him. Irina, oh, there's more pictures, oh my, that's a lot. McKenna, what is it? Irina, he just sent me a picture of a dealership and said guess which one he just bought and he's going getting it, no, he just singed for it too. She showed them the pictures of the dealership and they saw him signing documents and receiving his keys. Asia, oh, wow, I wonder what car he's going to get. I like that red one. Nikki, I think it's called a Ferrari. Ravel, that's right, I think it will be that orange Lamborghini in the front. Irina, I think that grey Volvo CX-90, he did mention a while back he wants a family car. Ria's it's hard to pick, I'm not sure in his tastes, I need to learn more about him if I want to marry him. Irina didn't like that sentence so much, she knew he hadn't forgiven them, but the way he worded it, he let it go and moved on. He's still hardly spoken, she hoped issei will pick her over Ria's. Nikki, then I guess we going to have to see, it's hard to tell from the keys because there's no badge on it. Hineko, mother is right. Ross was there's been a lot of change with him, his marks are improving a lot, he's ahead with his training, he's made good money, he's looking after Irina and Ravel well, he's even made time to take Irina out on dates and not falter with anything else, no one even knew he's going for the tests or even practicing driving at all. I'm impressed, to say I'm impressed a lot. Loud car revs. They all looked at each other, then outside. Irina, I want to say that's him. They all went outside and saw the car. Oh wow. He rolled down the window and looked out. Issei, and what do you think, smiling. He got out and the car turned off and Irina ran into his arms and gave him a quick kiss. Irina, well done darling, congratulations on the car. Issei, thank you my love, oh here I'm giving this you all, I'm not in the mood for sweets really. He pulled out the basket and handed it to Irina and they were amazed by all the sweets in it. Ravel, I must say I'm impressed with everything, we didn't even know you and your license. Issei, well, I had to do it by myself, I had a plan to save up money so I can get the car and everything to get girls, but that plan failed so I went back to it recently and did it all in the span of a month and passed with flying colors. He smiled and all of them were happy to see that smile, it's a smile they haven't seen in a while. Ria's congrats Issei, but where are my brother and father, we saw the pictures with them. Issei, oh, they went home already, mother and Nichan asked for them to return and Azazel left after I bought the car. Mickey shocked, wait, who's your mother? Issei, oh Mrs. Haidu, I'm talking about Ria's mother, when I was engaged to her, I was asked to address her as mother, same with her father, and it just stuck so I call them mother and father, and with her siblings, I got along well with them, so they are my brother and sister. Garo, congrats Issei, well done. Issei, thanks, I need to still do some other things, I'll see you at home alright. Irina, okay, don't be late. Issei, never, ca. He gave her a quick kiss, then got in and started the car and it roared to life, setting off other car alarms. They watched him chuckle and speed off down the road. Ria's, I'm impressed honestly, he looks good driving that car. Irina, no denying that. Bekeno, I wonder what he has planned. Ravel, I think it's training, he's been doing that a lot lately. When he was sick, he couldn't do much of anything and he complained about feeling horrible about it. Nikki, how long was he sick? Irina, I'm not sure, it kind of just started and it was really bad before he got better with the move and all, but he's okay now. Nikki, what was wrong? Ria's, we found out recently too, nothing too serious, just dealing with stress. Irina made a slight nod to Ria's as thanks for lying to her, they all know it's not really a topic to talk about just yet. But issei. He arrived at the studio. He walked inside and then met the guys of the new band he's part of. Issei, yo. GUI1, hey man, you ready for today? Our first show is in the next month. Issei, yay, oh do you have a bunch of tickets that I can give my friends? GUI20, yay, we get about that, we each get about 20 each, will that be enough? Issei, smiling, more than enough. After band practice he went home to fetch Irina. Tonight was date night and Ravel went to go see her family for the evening to check up on her to see how she was fitting in, so Irina and Issei decided to make it a date night. He parked in the parking lot, then walked up to his apartment and found Irina still getting done. He greeted her and quickly got into the shower and got done. When he get dressed he opted for a black shirt with a red check shirt over it with black jeans with black boots, he left his hair wet and then went to the living room and found Irina in a long sleeve cream top with jean shorts and had her hair up in a ponytail. Issei, let's go my love. She took his hand and smiled, then the two locked up and went to the car. He opened the door and let her get in. She sat in the passenger seat and she was amazed by the interior of the car. He got in and then started the car. Irina, where are we going tonight? Issei, that my love is a surprise. They drove and Issei drove fast, he heard her laughing with excitement, then he used his magic and teleported the car. There was a small flash and then they were in a different area. Irina darling, where are we? Issei, Yukon, Canada. Irina, why are we here? Issei, you'll see, trust me. She nodded and smiled as they took a slow drive. She looked outside and saw that it's snowing. Irina, darling, I don't think me going outside is a good idea, I'll freeze. Issei, so, you don't want to sit in my lap with my arms wrapped around you keeping you warm? Irina blushing, no, I want that, I'll rather take that. Issei chuckling, then stop worrying and enjoy the ride. They drove for a few more minutes and they arrived at an empty hillside. He turned off the car and then made motion for them to both get out. Once out the freezing breeze hit Irina and she hugged herself. Issei, here we are, I knew these would come in handy. She looked at him and he held two large fluffy jackets. He came to her and put the jacket on her, then sat her down on his lap and she snuggled into his warmth. Irina, you still haven't told me why we are here. Issei chuckles, alright my love, you mentioned how cool the northern lights are and after doing some research I found during these next few months, seeing the northern light will be very active here, so I brought you to see them like you wanted. Irina, you're a perfect boyfriend, you'll make an even better husband, you know that. Issei, baby steps that will happen one day soon. I was honestly thinking maybe after we graduate or maybe a bit afterwards, but I would like to see closer to the time, after what we went through a while ago. I don't want to waste a second, I want to marry you, but there are other things we need to get through first. Irina, you're right. Issei, I can get you a promise ring if you want. Irina, no, I don't need one, I know you will propose within the given time, and I'm not like some girls that take the specialness out of being proposed to when all they talk about is wedding rings, and all I know it's going to happen, so I don't mind waiting. Issei tightened his grip around her and rested his face behind her neck. Issei, I love you so much. Irina, I love you too. They shared a kiss, and, in the background, the northern light started and illuminating the area around them. They pulled apart and watched the lights. Irina, wow. Issei, amazing. They watched the lights feeling nothing but love for each other. Once the lights finished they got back into the car and went home, nothing was said between them. They sat perfectly happy with how tonight went and they listened to music. Irina started to fall asleep and he noticed once they got home, he carefully took her out the car and took her to their room. He placed her on the bed sitting up and she noticed where she was and got changed. Issei went to go and check to so if Ravel was home or not. He slowly creaked the door open and saw her sleeping soundly. He then closed her door and locked up the place and then went to bed himself as he got changed and then as he laid down Irina snuggled up next to him. He brought her clothes and closed his eyes, happy with how things were going for him for the past few days and hoped it would stay that way. It's finally the day of the concert. Issei is excited, he couldn't stop smiling the whole night and now as he wakes up, he takes out the tickets and puts one by both Ravel and Irina's phones and then leaves to go get ready for the show. On his way to the studio he stopped at his old house and just put the tickets in the mailbox and left again and sent the rest to some of his friends with a note telling them to come. On arrival at the studio, he met up with the guys. They started to tune up and practice. With Irina. She tried to find Issei in her sleep by feeling around the bed. She opened her eyes and saw that he was gone. She then stretched and sat up in the bed and looked at her phone and saw the ticket next to her phone. She thought she was dreaming, but after rubbing her eyes, she squealed in excitement which woke up Ravel and she came quickly to see what was the problem. Ravelreed, are you okay? Irina, happy, look what was next to my phone this morning. She showed the ticket and Ravel looked even more shocked to see who it was for. Ravel, did I get you this? Irina, happy it could only be him. Ravel went to her room to see if there was one for her as well and Irina heard more squealing coming from the other room. She came running back to Irina with a ticket in hand and they hugged each other with excitement, happy they got tickets. Ravel, happy, we need to go get ready, it starts in a few hours. Irina, I'm with you, let's go. They both went to go get done and freshen up to get ready for the fun night that was upon them. Ravel started doing her hair along with Irina. Ravel did her signature twin tails and Irina tied her up into a single ponytail. She wore black jegging pants with sneakers and a white strap top, Ravel in a similar fashion with a skirt with a strap top. They had fun getting ready. They did receive a message from Issei to tell them to be there a bit early due to foot traffic and he will meet them there, so they did just that. They left in a hurry and locked up the house, eager to go to the concert. With Riaz and the others sitting in the living room. Riaz, it's been a slow day, hasn't it? Akeno yes, it has been, but nothing has come up or invites, so it's just us and we have done our task for today fairly quickly, so there is that as well. Mickey you get days like this when you two into a routine, how about we order takeout tonight and mix things up a bit? Zenovia that sounds nice I'm thinking of sushi. Kaneko sounds good to me. Aura we can watch the concert that's happening at the stadium tonight. Ria's oh, yay we have been so busy with things that we didn't even have time to buy some tickets. Mickey well, there's always next time why don't you invite some friends for dinner or treat? Ria's sure, I'll call them over. She messaged Sona telling her that she'd been invited for dinner and she could bring her peerage for dinner. Sona responded and told her that they had other plans for the evening, but still said thank you for the invite. Asia messaged Kiba since the rating game he's been very depressed because he feels he hurt his best friend and each of them have been taking turns to check up on him and he's been fine, he said that he's going to come over. Zenovia messaged Irina to see if she's willing to come over, but she didn't reply yet. Zenovia I messaged Irina to see if she with Issei and Ravel would mind coming over. Ria's that would be nice it's been a few days since we last saw them. Mickey Asia and Kaneko went to go and get the sushi. Ria's gave some extra money to Kaneko to pay for some of it. She wasn't going to burden Mickey with paying so much after a while. They waited for them to come back and Kiba and Gasper arrived and he looked better for worse. He looked as if he hadn't been sleeping or keeping up with exercise anymore. He let himself go. Kiba thanks for having me smiles. Gasper hello everyone. Are you alright kid you look like a mess. Kiba it's just been that type of time, don't worry about it Mr. Hayadu. Ria's you're one of us and we can enjoy the music we can see on TV. Kiba tickets would have been nice, but what are you going to do they have been sold out for a while. Akeno I'm sure we can go to the next one if there is. Asper why, yay that would be cool. After a few minutes of small talk Mickey and the others came back with the food and they all helped set up for dinner in front of the TV. Mickey well dig and smiles. They all slowly ate some sushi from the sushi on the table and turned on the TV to allow them to watch the concert. On the TV. Voice welcome to Japan National Stadium where we have our special guest Fall Out Boy, Yuta, and many more performing tonight. The camera panned around and front and center was a masked person singing and playing instruments playing music they were really good, everyone loved the man singing for all of them. The current song playing. Kaneko the guy playing has a nice voice. Ria's you said it. Mickey if I remember correctly Issei likes Fall Out Boy I remember seeing a few CDs in his room when I was cleaning it once. The girls that plan on getting to know him better but also want to do it right so knowing some of the music he likes would be very helpful. Kiba hey is that Irina and Ravel with everyone else? Kaneko confused what? Kiba look they moving over the VIP section look. They looked at the TV and saw Irina, Ravel, Sona, Tsubaki, Saji, Momo, Tome, Azazel, Surziches, Grafi and Milikas all talking with some other people who were with them in the booth. Ria's confused how is that right? They watched as the person singing bowed and left the stage and then it went dark. Announcer please put your hands together and welcome Fall Out Boy. The lights and all the cameras all went to the stage and one of the original members Pete walked onto the stage and the crowd cheered for him as he walked up to the microphone. Pete hello everyone before we rock the night away I want to make an announcement, little over 3 months ago we lost Patrick he had some troubles and he was killed here in Japan. I'll keep it brief we considered breaking up the band and even cancelling our spot and role in this concert, but I still call it a gift from God. We met an amazing kid he had the skills and talent to fill in for our lost member and in the past few months he has become one of our new members officially tonight is his debut please. I would like to introduce my new best friends and little brother Issei. Please give him a round of applause. They saw the masked man walk back onto the stage and take his mask off showing off who he was and what he looked like others were shocked and most were cheering for him, realizing he could sing so nicely. Pete the stage is all your man show them how you kill it. Issei you got it. The others went to their instruments and the lights adjusted as they got ready. In the stands. Issei's group shocked no way. Back at the house. The house was silent confusion and excitement ran wild. Issei let's do this. Music start. Issei is singing and playing the guitar. The crowd went wild as the song went off they were impressed with his vocal range and they loved each second of his voice. For Irina she loved every second of this she saw her boyfriend having fun and singing like he used to again and she loved the song. It was similar for Ravel she enjoyed this more than she even showed, for the others present they were shocked he can even sing. Saji let's go. Back at the house, they were in complete shock some of them even singing along. Song end. Issei how was that? The crowd cheered for him again and he gave them a bright smile. Issei woo it's hot up here for our next song The Phoenix. Ravel grew a smile knowing why he picked the song. The crowd cheered as they started singing. The crowd enjoyed the song and even sang along with him. Irina and Ravel could swear they were the loudest, screaming his name, even Azazel and Serziches, and surprisingly Grafia were screaming his name with them. Sona and Tsubaki were also cheering his name along with the others. Back home others were singing along with him, happy to hear him sing again and happy to see him have fun. When they finished catching their breaths, Issei smiled at the crowd. Little did he know this was the start of his fan club. Issei, right, as much as I'm having fun up here, here is one last song that the guys wanted to play again, and we have her here with us. Everybody, here we go, immortals. The crowd and Issei started singing. Music start. Issei started singing, the crowd loved it, they started singing along again. During the song, Issei was killing it as he sang. With the lights and strings they made him look like Hess flying around with Big Hero 6 clips everywhere. When the song finished he bowed and they cheered for him. Issei, that's it from me for now, please enjoy my new friend Yuta. The crowd went wild as Yuta walked onto stage. None of the guys left the stage. Yuta, welcome everybody. Music start. Issei playing the guitar with the rest of the guys playing instruments. The crowd loved to hear the new song. They were even stunned by the visual effects going off around them. It made them feel like they were in a magic world. Everyone was enjoying the music, even dancing along. Issei was dancing in sync behind her, she didn't even see it, and the crowd loved it. When they finished the crowd cheered again. Yuta, alright, everyone's still having fun. Crowd, YESSSS. Yuta, then you going to love this one, Issei. Issei started on the guitar. Music start. Yuta came next to Issei while he was playing and pulled him forward with her, and the two of them had fun next to each other while they performed. While playing, Issei was lip-syncing her while she sang and played, and she was getting deeper into the music. When the song was done, Yuta bowed and jumped onto Issei's back, and they could hear them talking while they caught their breaths. Yuta, hey Issei, why not play a few other songs? I'm sure they would love it. Issei, I mean I would, but then won't we taking away from the others that still need to perform? Yuta, oh, didn't they tell you? They cancelled when they heard it's a new album drop for me, so that last section I'm giving to you. Issei, no way, alright, I'm game then. She got off her back and he stood forward. Issei, alright, here's a new one I came up with a few days ago. It was fast to come together, but I know the guys already practiced the song without me knowing, so here we go. The crowd loved the song and wanted more from him. They loved his voice and his style of music too. Issei, alright, how's this one? Many of people felt motivated after hearing the song, and they loved it. Issei, alright, he'll do one last one, hope you enjoy. As they played his last song, Is made a huge name for himself. The crowd loved it, he bowed to all of them and left the stage for the night. Back at the house, everyone was utterly shocked. They didn't expect this from him, and he blew them all away with his skills. Riaz, let's go and congratulate him tomorrow. Nikki, I like that idea. Back at the stadium. Irina, Ravel, Grafia and Milikas are busy hugging him, while the others are standing there impressed with what Hess done. Yuta, looks like you have some interesting girlfriends here, Issei. He looked at her and she had a smug look on her face, and he just didn't look impressed. Issei, wrong, Irina here is my girlfriend. Ravel is a super close friend of mine, the rest are either family or close friends. Both shut up, you're ruining the moment. Issei, fine. After the hug and saying thanks to everyone, they then left and drove home. As the drive started, both Irina and Ravel passed out and fell asleep. Issei smiled and then drove calmly back home. He took the girls and brought them back to their rooms. He contemplated changing them, but decided not to. He first brought in Ravel, then set her on her bed, and to his surprise, in her sleep, she started stripping to her underwear. He quickly booked it out of her room. He didn't know how far she was going to go. He brought Irina in, and she changed into her pajamas and then got into the bed. Issei made sure his car is locked and then locked up the house and then got into bed. Irina cuddled up next to him. Before he slept, he looked at his phone and saw loads of messages from people he didn't know and some people in his class. He saw the messages from Riaz and Akeno saying they loved his performance. He then saw one from Saji calling him Harem King because Yuta hugged him. He chuckled bit. Then put his phone down and then turned to Irina and brought her into his grasp and held her tight and kissed her forehead. The next morning he found himself awake surprisingly early. Greg, well done partner, I enjoyed last night. Issei, no problem man, but I have another thing I want to get done, but I'm not sure when should I do it. Greg, your life force. Issei, yeah, I want to get it fixed or restored if you get what I mean, but I was thinking about something else. Greg, and what is that? Issei, the possibility of a harem again. I've weighed my options, and I'm not going to deny it, it's highly likely to happen again, but I can put my foot down and say no. On the other hand, things will eventually lead to it being brought up again. Greg, I'm not sure, why not talk to your partner about it, maybe she's also thought about it herself, but in a different light. Issei, then I'll have to see, let me ask her. He tapped Irina gently and she squinted at him. Irina, morning darling, something wrong? Issei, I want to know your thoughts on something important. Irina fully sat up and stretched and looked at him. Irina, what's wrong my love? Say you see the thoughts of me having a harem again came up and I want to know your honest thoughts on it. She looked sad, well she thought about it, he could see it wasn't something she was particularly fond of, but understood where he was coming from. Irina look I don't really like the idea of the harem thing again, because I don't want you hurt again, but also I know it's selfish, but I don't want to be left behind again, the first time around I never got to even enjoy my time with you, it was always a fight, and I was always left out whether I wanted to or not. Say how I see look I don't want to hurt you it's the last thing I want to do, but the thought of it came up and I wanted to know if you're against it or not, I'm currently happy with the way things are, but if it even had to happen or something I want to know if you're okay with it, because I want to make this decision with you. Irina I'm not entirely against it if it is healthier and fair to all in the relationship, like no one gets left out sort of thing, but I also do personally think it is too soon to start another one. Say my thoughts exactly, and I think if I did have another one, then all of you would get the same treatment and equal time, the first time around was powered by lust, and I'm not putting either of you in that situation if it does happen, I just wanted to know where you stand with it, plus you'd have to be crazy to think I'm going to ignore my guardian angle. Irina shocked you remembered. Say how could I forget? He kissed her forehead and brought her into a hug and she hugged him back. Say at school today I want to talk to Roswisser Azazel about getting my life force fixed, I don't need the caught me off guard. And I think it's why I asked about the more partners thing Kaneko said bedroom arts would be most effective and if I go to Yasaka, she's probably going to suggest it, even if I go to Kuroka, it's going to be the same deal and I don't know if a relationship will come from it or not. Irina I understand then I suppose if something does happen with Yasaka then by all means, but think about it first, I believe you and I don't want a repeat of last time. Say oh of course I wouldn't make the same mistakes twice, I might turn evil instead of dying, but thanks, I really needed to know that you okay with it if I do end up having more partners. Irina She snuggled into his chest and smiled, she looked back at him and he gave her a deep kiss filled with love. Say today is going to be a long one isn't it? Irina for sure. Ravel other side of the door you guys awake yet? Say we will be there in a bit Ravel. They spent another 2 minutes in each other's embrace, then got out of bed and got ready for school. At the Haidu mansion, they all sat in the dining room while Mickey was making food in the kitchen and Gauro went outside to get the mail. Riaz I wonder if Issei is coming to school or not. Roswis he better we have a test today. Asia how was your grandmother? Roswis oh she was still on my case about getting a boyfriend and teasing me about it but still happy to see me smiles. Bekeno I'm sure the time will come so besides Issei having a test anyone got anything else interesting happening this week? Kaneko no. Riaz well it's not really interesting, but Sona did catch Saji trying to play an instrument this morning. Zenobia I read that dragons are very competitive and try and be better than the rest, so maybe Issei being good at music is pushing him to try new things. Riaz please tell me the name of the book you read I'd like to know more about the dragons myself. Bekendo I'll agree with that. Garo sad morning family. They watched him walk back in and they could see the sadness on his face like he was even more guilty about something. All morning. Ray's father, something the matter? Garo I found these in the mailbox this morning. He placed the tickets on the table and all looked at them. Riaz and I thought today was going to be a good one, how did none of us find it yesterday? Bekendo well, none of us really left the house yesterday so we couldn't have known. Asia hopefully he's not upset. Roswis well then we going to have to wait and see then. They arrived at school and walked in feeling okay about today, then they heard a car rev loudly behind them as they walked in. They saw Issei's car and watched it go to parking the students all ran to see who it was then Issei Ravel and Irina got out of it, they took their bags and then he locked it and walked towards his class. They started following him as he sat down, he looked around and saw everyone looking at him. Issei what got something in my teeth. Bakia no, how, why, when, all of this. Issei why do you think I wasn't around for most of last week, that's when I got my license and car and about a few months before I met the band and then they offered me to temporary step in for them and then made me a member. Addis Arena, did you know about any of this? Arena nope it was just as much as a surprise for me I did know about the car and license, but the music part, not a clue. My Marma blushing Issei can I get a picture, please? Issei no, one in this class besides Arena gets anything from me and I don't plan on changing that. His class felt bad that he still didn't like them, but they knew he has the right to feel this way. Modahama what about your good old buddies? Issei no, the two of you aren't my friends. Itsuda ah come on man sure we friends. Issei then when is my birthday, Angle, don't say it. Silence. Issei what's my favorite food? No one said anything. Modahama pussy. Issei I rest my case. Everyone was surprised, one would think that someone knows when his birthday was but they don't. Zenobia your favorite food is fried chicken preferably hot chicken or any spicy foods. Issei, at least someone was right. Zenobia smiled and shed a few tears, happy she got something right with him. Issei, now go sit down, Roswa-sensei is here. She walked in and the others all walked back, some of the students feeling bad about how they treated him in the past, mainly the girls. It started flashing in their minds that the other two dragged him around a lot and on a few occasions he just happens to be there and they beat him for it. Maimura felt bad about it, she actually liked him peeping on them, made her think that he was looking at her, but now he's moved on and she pushed him far away enough to make him not even want to look at her. For the rest of the class they see Issei for his actual likes and now he's actually looking after himself and doing better entirely, they wouldn't even think that he was Ed. Roswa Issei, congratulations about last night, I didn't see it but I saw a few clips of it. Issei, thank you sensei. Roswa's right, class, here are your tests, take one and pass it back. They did just that and once she started the test she watched Issei. Roswas, he's amazing, he's taking care of himself and still looking after Irina and Ravel, and to top it off she's never seen him and the two looking so happy before. He's become the ideal man in everything, not even in just fighting, but he made time for everything and made sure to do it right, and even now he has a perfect relationship with Irina and the both of them haven't been more happy. I wonder. During lunch break he went to the orc club room to get away from his fan base. He also wanted to see if they had something to say to him, he knew they didn't find the tickets and now they might feel bad. He entered the room and they dropped their teacups and looked at him with shocked faces. Issei, you just wasted tea. Ria's Issei, sorry we couldn't. He spoke over her and she kept quiet when he spoke. Issei, figured you didn't see the tickets till this morning. The Keno said yay. Issei, no worries, there's always going to be more. They looked at him confused. Asia, what do you mean? Issei, I'm going to be performing at more concerts in the future, do you think I'm only going to do that once? They ran to him and hugged him, they took in his touch the best they could before they let him sit down. Issei, well, I decided to have lunch here, Ravel and Irina are bringing the food, now they told me to go ahead so I'm here, plus the fan base is worse than Kiba's. Kiba, what do you mean worse than mine? He pulled out a handful of crumpled papers. Issei, roughly 110 numbers from the same girls that hated my guts a few months ago. He snapped his fingers and a small spark left them and set them alight. He sat down and they just watched the numbers burn into nothingness, but what surprised them was that it didn't burn the table. They all sat down and got comfy. Riaz, so how was it meeting Yuta last night? He looked up at her and for once in a while he finally looked at her and she didn't feel anger or hatred coming from him. Issei, well, I have spent a few days with her already for practice and to sing along. He played a video where he and Yuta and having a high-pitched race and he nearly won. Issei, yeah, I lost my voice after that, she's a darling to hang out with, honestly. Zenobia, that's cool, do you have any other signs in progress I like, Somewhere I Belong? Issei, yeah, that was a hard one to sing and still play at the same time, but I got it right. Tiba, nice going man, I'm impressed. Issei, thanks, you see Saji started playing instruments to try and catch up to me. Riaz giggles, I told them this morning. Issei, did you see the video Momo took? Kaneko, curious, there's a video. Issei, yeah, check it out. He showed them the video and he was horrible, off-key and off-tune, but he was still trying. The video ended when turned around and Momo burst out laughing. Issei, I had the easy part down, I could always play and sing, just didn't do it much. Irina walking in, which is why I'm happy you started again. Ravel, yeah, what she said, I'm even enjoying the singing around the house. The Keno, how often does he sing? Irina, all the time. She put down her bento and handed Issei his. Issei, do not. Ravel, dude, you were singing this morning while you were eating. Issei, fine, my brain is finishing off songs that I kind of started as a kid but never finished, that's what the three I sang last night were. They were surprised that those songs came from younger him. Zenobia, hey Issei, was I really right this morning? They all looked at her, all of them confused, but Asia, Issei and Irina. Issei, yes you were. She had a small smile on her face, happy she was truly right. Asia, so what are you going to do now, Issei? Issei, get my life force back, I'm going to see if I can go to Osaka, if not, then I'll have to settle for Kuroka to try and help me. I need that experience in sage arts to try and recover it at a faster rate. After recent events I can't be caught off guard by having my life force run out at the worst time and die when I'm needed, so I need to have it sorted ASAP. Kaneko, please try and push for Osaka, I don't need my sister trying to manipulate you or anything. Issei, don't stress about it, it is not set in stone yet. Kaneko felt bad that he didn't want to come to her for help, but he wanted the more experienced, so the process could be sped up. She understands that, but doesn't like the thought of Kuroka being involved. Riaz, if I remember correctly, bedroom arts are the most effective. Issei, I know I had to talk to Irina about it to see if she's okay with it if it does happen to go down that route. Irina, I'm fine with it, but he knows the one rule I gave me. Issei, and I'll never break it. Ravel #whipped. They all burst out laughing at him and enjoyed the rest of the lunch break. After that they went back to class. Issei went to Azazel's office and told him what he wanted to do and wanted time off for about a week or so. Azazel gave him permission but requested that Roswis goes with him to update him on the situation and he agreed. Later that day Issei picked up Roswis and sped down the road with Roswis in the passenger seat. Roswis panicked. "I slow down, please." Issei sure. He slowed down the car and they drove through the night to get to Kyoto land of the Yokai. It's the early hours of the next morning. Roswis could be seen sleeping in the passenger side of the car while Issei was driving to Kyoto. Roswis asked him to drive slowly and by the speed limit he obliged and drove nicely to make her feel more comfortable. Issei, "Hey Drag." Drag, "Yes partner, what can I do for you?" Issei, "I want your honest opinion on something that's been nagging me at the back of my head." Drag, "If it relates to your feelings towards your parents, then what of it?" Issei, "Did I do the right thing leaving the family like I did? I've thought about it. Sure, maybe I overreacted, but in all fairness, they did start it first in terms of emotionally neglecting me." Drag, "I'm not sure how to relate. I never had parents. I was an energy that was manifested by something and I've lived on since. It's like that for all dragons. If Vritra had his memories would tell you the same thing, Albion included. We know not of our origins, but we have been alive for millennia and will forever be alive till we vanish from existence." Issei, "Well, that was interesting, but I didn't need so much as a relation, but my actions, do you think I was right or wrong?" Drag, "Neither right nor wrong." Issei. He stopped the car on the side of the road and just got out of the car. Roswis slowly opened her eyes and saw they had stopped and looked to see that Issei isn't in the car anymore and that he's looking over the edge of the barrier of the road. She got out the car and walked to him. Roswis, "Something wrong?" Issei, "Sorry if I woke you up, I'm just trying to figure out something." She came closer and saw that they could see the city lights below them and since they were so high up it looked so small. Roswis, amazed, "Whoa." Issei, "It's nice, hey." Roswis, "I've never seen it like this before. Last time we took a bullet train I would have loved to see this." Issei, "Me and you both." Roswis, "So what's on your mind? I may not be outgoing, but I could help, you never know." Issei, "Don't worry about it, it's alright, we are about 4 hours out from getting to Osaka, let's get going." Roswis, concerned, "Sure, but first." She took out her phone and took a few photos with Issei and sent it to the group with all of them. The one that stood out the most to him was the one where she pulled him close to her and they looked like a couple. He's never seen her smile like that before. Once she was done they got back into the car and took off again driving down the road. Roswis put on the radio and to their surprise, one of Issei's songs was playing. He had made it to the most played song in the past week. Issei, "To think the walls did that well." Roswis, "Hey, do you have any other songs no one has heard of?" Issei, "Don't tell Riaz or Irina, it's a song I'm still conflicted on." Roswis, "I promise." He took his phone and quickly made sure that the road was alright and slowed down enough and then took his phone and played the beat and started singing. When he was done Roswis just looked at him with complete shock. Roswis, "Wow, I'm speechless, but it's not for just Riaz, is it?" Issei just shook his head indicating she was right. Roswis, "You still feel bad about it?" He nodded and took a deep breath. Roswis, "Well, I know I'm not one to talk, but with everything that happened I see it as a good thing in the end. Think about it, my ideal thought about even being a relationship is knowing each other to the point I would be able to see that they upset or have troubles, which they didn't see and only realized till it was too late, and then that's when everything really broke down." Issei, "I guess you're right." Roswis, "And the same goes for your parents. I'm not entirely sure, but even with your parents, I was reading a book to finish my degree in teaching, so I can actually be qualified and not have the fake that Azazel made for me, but while I was studying I came across a section called emotional detachment in parents. It's when they slowly stop showing signs of affection and it affects the child's mind to the point where they just want to leave the house entirely and cut them off from their life. Tendencies shows, unsure about certain topics such as love, friends, life choices, or just keeping relationships in general. Even showing affection will feel difficult in some types and towards parents it's very similar because you don't even want to talk to them. I can see you have a few problems surrounding the matter. Issei, Roswis, "Sorry if I upset you." Issei, "You didn't, it's just you described a lot of what's going on." Roswis, "Oh, I see, would you like me to change topics or?" Issei, "I'm not sure, it's a lot to think about because I felt like it was just me or something wasn't feeling right." Roswis, "I suppose I should say that in most cases they found that people can't commit to a relationship, but yet you and Irina have been perfect, almost like you would have been cut off if she didn't step up like she did." Issei, "I suppose you're right, I would have just left and never come back. It was a serious thought I had, but she keeps me grounded and keeps thoughts from affecting me." Roswis, "Which is good because you need someone who will be by your side no matter the change." Issei, "Lucky me then, huh?" Roswis, "It's perfectly normal in human behavior and him thinking of her being with you day in and day out was a good thing because if she wasn't that good of an influence then we wouldn't be talking about it now." Issei, Roswis, it's still good to have talks with people, it helps get over the trauma. Issei, the question now is, do I let them back in or keep it as it is? Roswis, falling asleep, it's your choice, not mine, follow your heart and hope for the best. She fell asleep and was lightly snoring. Issei smiled at her. Sleeping in someone's car is the ultimate form of trust. He's seen Ravel and Irina sleep in the car, but now Roswis, it was a good feeling. Braig, perhaps the Valkyrie shed the light you were looking for. Issei, she kind of did, but I'm still not sure. Braig, see, after the treatment it's meant to be enriching, so you might be able to have a clear mind. Issei, then we will have to see as we move. They drove for another hour, and Issei saw a restaurant and stopped to get some breakfast. As he got out of the car he saw his breath. Issei, looks like winter is going to be a cold one. He walks inside and sees the menu. Issei, I'll take 2 of those please with some orange juice, please. Cashier, it will be ready in a few, Issei smiling. Issei smirked, then just stood by the till and turned around. It was empty, but his focus was on Roswis in his car alone. He may not look like it, but he was watching her like a hawk. He wasn't going to let her feel like she's in danger while they are here. While he was watching the car, the waiter came and gave him the food to go, and then he went to the car to wake up Roswis. He gently woke her up and saw he had food for them. She then saw the coat he had on and put on hers. As she got out the car she felt the cold breeze rush her body. Issei, shivering, what a way to wake up for the day. Issei, it's not too bad honestly. Roswis says, the fire dragon. Issei, any other day I would have said not, but I am now, still not used to it yet. Roswis, I thought as much. Issei, anyway come sit, the food's still hot. Roswis, oh, what did you get us? Issei, some egg omelette and bacon bites with fruit juice. Roswis, alright, how much do I owe you? Issei, free of charge, my treat. Roswis, if you insist. They sat down to eat and it was nice, not as good as the home-cooked meal, but a nice meal regardless. Roswis decided to take another picture as an update to the group. They didn't see the last one, but she sent a picture of the breakfast with Issei taking a bite and sent it. Issei, sending pictures to update them on things. Roswis, yes, I feel just sending a message wouldn't do much justice in the end, so doing it like this will show that you're still in good spirits. Issei, I see. Roswis, hey, you know the cashiers in the restaurant behind you are taking photos of us, right? Issei, deep breath, let them, I don't care right now. Roswis, if you say so. Issei, hey, thanks for earlier. Roswis, what do you mean? Issei, I wasn't in the right state of mind and you helped validate my feelings, but I think I'll have a talk with them when we get back and give them a chance again, but I'll see how I feel after the treatment because it's meant to be an enriching thing, so I should be able to make the choice then. Roswis, glad to be of help. Issei, you ready to go? Roswis, let me see, let me go to the bathroom first, I'm sure we going straight there and no stops. Issei, more or less. Roswis, I'll be right back. She walked into the restaurant and the staff came up to her. Earl excited, hey, is he your boyfriend? Roswis, no, we just super close friends, please excuse me. She quickly left before a blush appeared on her face and they caught her out. The girl smiled and posted the pictures to the internet and they were gaining traction. But Issei outside. Braig, those bacon bites look nice. Issei, I've been wondering something, can you actually eat or are you satisfied with what I eat? Braig, I'm touched, the first human to offer me food, but to be fairly honest, I wouldn't know in the slightest if I can eat or not, it has never been tried. Issei, well, how about we mess around and see if we can get you some food? Braig, it's worth a shot, I'm willing to try it out. Issei, might as well go to the bathroom as well just to be sure. After going to the bathroom, both Roswis and Issei got into the car and drove off again. It was around 6 AM and I planned to be there by 8, so Issei put on music and was singing, and Roswis joined in as well. They sang the whole way there. Once they reached the temple, Issei drove up slowly. He knew no human would ever find this place, and then he got out with Roswis, who clung to him for warmth, walked to the door and knocked. After a few moments, they slowly opened. Tired, who is it? Issei, hi princess, how are you this morning, smiles. Her eyes grew large, and then she shut the door and ran to her room to look presentable. Roswis and Issei looked at each other and started giggling at the princess's actions. With all the commotion, Yasaka was woken up and she let them in and tea brought for them. Kunu slowly came back blushing. Kunu, sorry for my actions, it wasn't my intention to be rude. Yasaka, good to see that you were rude. Kunu embarrassed him, sorry. Issei, don't sweat the small stuff now, come give me a hug, I know you want to. She was shocked and then her tails went on end and she ran to him and gave him a hug and snuggled into his chest. Yasaka, so as much as I'm delighted to see you again. Issei, what brings you here? Issei, you see Yasaka, before we met I used a power I had no control over and used up most of my life force. I had a near-death experience and I was ready to die that day, but didn't. But now that I'm back to peak health again almost, I would like to regain my life force. I know it's a lot to ask, but it was either you or another sage user that I know would take advantage of the situation, which could end up with me being hurt more, so I please ask for your assistance. Isaka-kunu, please go and prepare for your lessons later. I need to discuss something with Red Dragon Emperor as adults. Kunu said yes mother. She looked upset that she had to be sent away. Issei, hey, I have a car now, we can go get ice cream later, okay? She smiled and nodded and ran off. Roswis, when was he so good with kids? Isaka, I am more than willing to assist you with this, I'm sure you are already aware of the process. Issei, I do, is there another method that we could use first? Out of respect for you I want to try another way first. Isaka, well, bedroom arts are the most effective picture of being intimate with entwining our souls together to fix yours, other methods are better to be explained as just touching or holding the soul, and that's the type of limitation that won't make the others as effective as you want them to be. Issei, deep breath, I'm okay with it if you are. Isaka, the only thing that I wish to ask is to be gentle, it would be my first time since conceiving Kunu. Issei choked on his spit and started blushing heavily, Roswis wasn't feeling any better. Roswis, I think that's my cue to leave you guys to do your things. Issei, I guess so, you can get your bags from the car, it's unlocked, I'll see you later. He placed the keys in her hands and she left quickly. Isaka chuckling, so I was right, she likes you. Issei, really, if anything, we are good friends. Isaka, think about it, you had so many girls that are with you, why wouldn't she be any less, is she not to your liking? Issei, no, it's not that, it's just I'm going through a lot right now and it doesn't help me much. Isaka, what happened? Issei told her everything about what happened and how he nearly died, and it was because of his loved ones. He told Yasaka about talking to Irina and how she's not against the harem thing, but wants him to fully think about everything before just having more partners, and then I get hurt again. Isaka, well, before we get started, how about we have a meditation course first, it's best if you start stripping. Issei, light blush, right? She slowly took off her kimono, and Issei could see her beautiful figure in all its glory, she was stunning, but seeing this part of her beauty made him get hard for the first time in a long while. She slowly walked over to him, she saw his member and smiled at him. Isaka, first off I want you to relax your mind, I know what's happening now but first clear your mind. He sat and closed his eyes, and then he could feel her moving her hands around his body, all the scars and damage that it has been through. Isaka, listen to my voice, make it the only thing that you focus on. Issei did as he was told, and she could feel him becoming more relaxed as they went on. Isaka, good, now breathe in and breathe out. She sat behind him, and he could feel her pushing against his back, sending a warm rush through his body. What Yasaka is actually doing is healing his body, as a sage user she can see the cracks that break the body that others can't, so using sage magic on his body, he starts to relax and feel better, and not feel uncomfortable in any which way or form. Isaka, you can open your eyes now, Issei. He slowly opened his eyes and saw her face looking at him. Isaka, I healed your body further, most beings of power cannot see the cracks on one's body that cause them to break. She touched his shoulder blade. Isaka, how does that feel? Not like it's going to snap if you push it too much, does it? Issei, surprised, no it doesn't, it feels good again. Isaka, good. She slowly came to him and kissed his cheek. Isaka, your body knows what to do, just follow the flow and it will all be alright. He came in for a kiss on the lips and they fell back onto the ground in each other's embrace. Outside. Ross was blushing, whoa, it's getting hot again. She walked to the car, took their bags and saw the children playing. My child, don't forget about love, it's something that completes our souls and gives us a purpose to live another day, if you find it, treasure it. Ross was, granny, don't talk about stuff like that. I'll stop when you bring me a great grandchild. Roswis broke into blush and realized that she was still standing by the car, then took their bags out and took them to their room. As she walked in she noticed something. Roswis blushing, why is there one bed? Buzz buzz. She looked at her phone and saw it was a video call. Ria's, hello Roswis, how are you today? We saw the pictures. Irina, how is Kyoto from the photos? Looks cold. Roswis, oh, you said I took one of Issei's jackets from the car because mine wasn't enough, and when we stopped for breakfast, he forget he's a fire dragon and said it's not as cold while I'm freezing my butt off. They all started giggling. Bekeno, what does your room look like? Roswis, well, we just got here a few minutes ago, and well, Issei and Yasaka are already doing their thing, so I brought the bags to the car and the room she gave us has only one big bed. She showed off the room. Irina, well, it's not too bad. Issei does sleep with a wall between us most nights, so he might do that if you don't have a problem with sharing a bed. Roswis, not particularly, but it's a first for me, so I'm not sure if I should do anything first. Ravel, I wouldn't stress about it honestly. Zenovia, so what do you have planned for today, or are you going to spend it in bed staying warm? Roswis, I saw a few adverts about some sales on clothes, so I might check it out sooner or later, but for now I think I'm going to get some tea and maybe a muffin and freshen up a bit. Asia, well, you are there for a week or two, so don't rush anything. Kaneko, I'm just thinking Issei is busy right now, why not just take a walk around and see if there is anything of interest you would like to do, like a restaurant or park. Ross was not a bad idea. Oh, let me know if you see pictures of Issei and me on the internet. When we sat down for some breakfast, some girls were taking photos of us two together. Ravel, what? Oh hell no, I don't need pictures of him on the internet, it's bad for business. She left the call and the girls giggled. Irina, she is busy looking around for them, but let us know what happens, okay? Ross was of course smiling. They put down and Ross went to freshen up in the bathroom. With Irina. She was sitting looking sad. Ravel, everything alright? Irina, I know that I can't right now, but I wish I had his first time. Ravel spat out her tea and looked shocked. Ravel, you're upset about that. Irina, I'm sorry, but it would have happened sooner or later and we both know it. You would have been the last to have with him and he still wouldn't do it because he would hate himself if you become a fallen angel. It was something you worked hard for and he will feel like he took away everything from you. Irina, I know it's just still I want to marry him, but it's still a feeling I'm sure any girl would have if her loved one had with someone else, but not you. Ravel, I know it's a long shot, but why not see if Michael could make some sort of exception to allow you and Issei to be intimate and not fall. I'm thinking about it, a holy dragon in your ranks will be very beneficial. Irina, huh, never thought about it like that. Ravel, because you're not thinking wide enough like yours truly. Irina holding back a laugh. Ravel confused, what's funny? Irina holding back a laugh, you said I'm not thinking wide enough, think about it. Ravel embarrassed blushing, hey, I told you that in confidence, don't make fun of my head. Irina holding laugh, not you the only one bringing up the wide things. The two burst out laughing at each other. Back with Issei. He could be seen lying next to Yusaka holding her in his arms. Issei out of breath, holy crap, that was amazing. Yusaka out of breath, I'm so tingly, my legs still feel like jelly. Issei, glad I was good enough for you. Yusaka, if you're having doubts about your performance then you were perfect and nothing lower, nothing better than perfect wouldn't change a thing. Issei, I'm glad. Yusaka, come with me to the baths, we still have a day to get through. Issei, want me to carry you like we just got married. Yusaka, you know how to make a lady feel special. They went to the bath and just cuddled in the water for a few minutes, then once they got dressed they went out to greet everyone. Gunu came running to Issei and she hugged him again tightly. Issei, hey, what's wrong? Gunu, nothing, I just want to give you a hug, I missed you a lot, smiles. Issei, right, we can get ice cream when your mother says you finished your teachings for today, alright? Gunu, okay, I can do that, smiles. Yusaka, feel free to walk around the area when you are here, it's your home too. Issei, sure thing, smiles. He let Gunu down and she and her mother left. He went to his room to find Ross was sitting in bed reading a book. Ross was, oh, you're back, I must ask, how was it to be with one of the most beautiful women in the universe? He fell face first into the pillow next to her, turned to his side and faced her with a goofy smile. Issei, I'm in bliss. Ross was Elegingi would say, well done, but the fact you tired and I can see the amount of love bites around your neck shows it was a good time. Issei, yay, let's not talk about those right now. Ross was chuckling, sure thing. Issei, so what did you have planned for today? Ross was, well, I was going to relax for the rest of today, I went for a walk and saw a few stores I'm going to go to tomorrow, but other than that, what did you have in mind? Issei, treating you, Yusaka and Kunu to dinner. Ross was, what's the occasion? Issei, because I feel like it, plus I never got to celebrate much when I was told I was made high class but couldn't get the rank because I'm not a devil anymore. Ross was shocked, oh yeah, I forgot about that, tell me about it. Issei, well. He explained how he was awarded the rank after his fight, but since he freed himself, but they were ready to make him a devil again, but he ultimately decided not to, since he is free to do as he pleases now, but he still got his rank regardless. Issei, and that's all she wrote. Ross was, well, that was interesting, to say the least, but still congrats. Issei, thanks, smiles. Ross was, then where do you have a place in mind for dinner? Issei, I'm thinking something fancy but not too fancy, there are a lot of stores and restaurants here and the food is always good. Ross was, all alright then, so what are you going to do for the rest of the day? Issei, well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I started producing a bit of fire when I fought Sererg, so I want to see what I can do with that, but later today a new song of mine will be dropped, so you will see it on TV and on the radio too. Ross was, oh, what's its name so I know? Issei, if I'm correct it's called Parasite and the other Bleed. Ross was, interesting names. Issei, well, the song was made when I was still angry and what I felt at the time, the producers say that the songs should do very well, so I said sure. Ross was, well, if they liked it so much then I can only assume that it's good and probably catchy. Issei, well, I'm going to go and play with fire, be ready around 4ish for dinner. Ross was, all alright, enjoy and don't overwork yourself. Issei walked through the land and all the Yokai children came running to him to greet him as the Red Dragon Emperor. Tiled 1, Red Dragon, what are you doing here again, are we in danger? Issei, no, you not in danger, I'm on holiday, you see I was hurt in my last fight and Lady Yusaka is busy healing me so I can fight better. Tile 2, wow, that's so cool, so are you going to go and train now? Issei, yeah, actually, do you know a place where I can have open space? Tiled 3A, follow us. He followed the children and saw the open field. It was wide enough to use large fire attacks and not damage the forest surrounding them. Issei, perfect. Tiled 4, red dragon, can we watch? Issei, sure, why not, you probably just going to laugh at me. Child 1, why is that? Issei, I have no idea what I'm doing, so it's probably going to blow up in my face. Child 3, that's alright, we still want to watch our hero train. Issei nodded and walked to the center and sat down and meditated. Issei, Drag, alright, help me out here, buddy. Drag, let me see, I think don the armor and first see if any changes were made. Issei, sure. The children watched as the armor appeared on his body, but then changed to scales growing around his body, giving the armor a new shape. He looked at the scales and could see small embers leaving his body. The heat from the fire was a calm yet dangerous feeling as he felt it run around his body. Issei, so it's clear I have a boost in fire now. Drag, I feel it flowing around your body, try to focus on the power within and see if you can bring it out. Issei, okay on it. He closed his eyes and felt the heat moving around his body and forced it to his hands, then his hands caught a light and the fire was bouncing around in his hands. Issei, whoa, this looks cool, but now how can I use it? Drag, try it on the sword. Issei pulled out Ascalon and tried to make it catch a light and it only started sparking and nothing else. Issei, that's new, let me see if I swing it around. He sliced down and it made a huge slice of fire and hit a nearby tree and left a massive cut in it with a bit of burn damage too. Issei, osh, shoot, that looks like it can be used a lot if I use it properly. Drag agreed. Issei powered down the armor. Issei, okay kids, don't freak out, this is new, I want to see if I can bring it out again. Child 1, what do you mean? Issei, just watch, okay. They nodded in excitement. Issei, you ready? Drag, well, it has never been done before so I wouldn't know. He closed his eyes and forced all his power to bring out this transformation. He could feel the scales and tail growing and his teeth getting sharper. He burst into flame and the transformation took full form. He let off a roar and it alerted some of the adults and they came running to see the large creature in front of the children. Adult 1, what is that? Children, happy, it's the Red Dragon Emperor. The form was huge, it was on the taller side of things. He looked at his body and it felt normal, but like this, his magic was completely different. The flow had changed and it felt better, it felt stronger and his old techniques were weaker than this. Issei, well, this is different. He dropped the form and looked at his body. It was weird, the feeling of his magic changing didn't change, it stayed like it was. Drag, it seems to have fully unlocked a new permanent power-up for you. It's a good thing that we only tried this when nothing big was going on. Issei, true, but first things first. He tried using another power and his right arm turned white with a blue gem, then it turned into scales and like his red gauntlet was. Issei, looks like power form volley would be able to do the same if he tried. Dryag, we keep it to ourselves, we don't want the white one to get stronger. Issei agreed, but let's see how far I can go, let's see if I can still use the dragon blasters like this. He focused and the blaster took form around the front of his arm, it was smaller than when he uses them on his wings. Issei, wait a second, if I can do it like this, could I? He made it go away and put his hands together and it made a super large blaster that looked like it could completely destroy the enemy. Issei, oh, I'm so abusing the hell out of this. He thought of how he used his tail now and then and its blaster turned into his tail. He was able to use it like a whip and then he got creative and added his fire to the whips and they made a cracking sound with each hit. Issei, I think that's enough for today, I don't need to use up all my magic energy, but I have so many ideas now and I think my armors have a new set design as well. Drag, you are pushing the limits of your powers every day, I'm impressed. He looked to the side and saw the kids' parents looking at him. Issei, so kids, how was that? Kids, that was so cool. Issei, all alright, let's get back before your parents get upset, they already look upset, I'm sorry. Kid should be okay. They took their parents away and he shrugged and walked behind them while they ran in front of him laughing and copying the things they saw him do. Now he smiled as they played in front of him. As they arrived back at the temple, he saw Yusaka and Kunu walking out. When he looked at Yusaka, she was more covered up and showing less of her body. As he got closer to them, they smiled at him. Kunu ran to him and he picked her up. Issei, were you good and finished your training? Kunu, yes, I finished my work and I was good. Issei, then we can get ice cream, but before that, Yusaka, Kunu, would you like to come to dinner with me? Yusaka, what's the occasion? Issei, I just feel like celebrating. Yusaka, we would love to, smiles. Issei, it's going to be a public place, would you like to go in your traditional clothing or would you like to change, it's your choice. Yusaka, perhaps to blend in a bit, we wear more natural attire to not stand out as much. Issei, if it works for you I have no issues. Kunu, excited, let me go get changed quickly. He let her go. Issei, I've noticed you are more covered up than normal. Yusaka, well, you are my lover now, my body is only for you to see. Issei came and gave her a kiss and she kissed back. Issei, well then I have no issues with that, but I have to go and fetch Roswasil back to fetch you too in a few minutes, I still need to freshen up. Isaka, don't take too long, lover. Issei never smiles. He quickly went to his room to freshen up and put on a black shirt with black pants. As he got out of the bathroom he saw Roswis in a dark blue dress that complemented her figure extremely well. Issei, wow. Roswis blushing, so I'm assuming I look good. Issei, good doesn't even begin to cover it. Iswisa blushing, thank you Issei. Issei, come on, let's go. They walked to the temple again and found Yusaka and Kunu waiting for them. Yusaka wore a dress that made her look even better, with her hair tied up differently, which made him shocked even more. Kunu had on a dress herself, it was cute, it suited her with the frills and all. Issei, you two look amazing. Oh thank you, Issei smiles. Issei, now then ladies, who is going to sit in front? Roswis, Yusaka may sit in front, I don't mind. Issei, are you sure? Roswis positive smiles. Issei, well alright then. He moved a seat so Roswis and Kunu could get in. Issei, Roswis, do you mind helping Kunu with her seatbelt? Roswis, sure of course. As she was helping Kunu be strapped in he let Yusaka get in and she hid her tails and got comfy in the passenger seat. He helped her get strapped in, being both their first time being in a car. He started the engine and both were amazed. Issei, all right, let's go. He carefully pulled away and then once on the road he started speeding. He could hear Kunu laughing and the same could be said for Yusaka, she was just laughing, while Roswis couldn't help but laugh as well. As they came by the restaurants they slowed down. Issei, and how was it? Yusaka, it was one of the best things I have experienced in my lifetime, thank you. Kunu, it was so fun, I want to do it again. Issei, maybe when there's less traffic. They stopped at the restaurant and entered. Issei ordered the food and because of his newfound fame, they let them have some starters which they enjoyed. The night went smoothly with some kids and adults coming to greet Issei. He let the kids take some photos with him and all, and they ended the night with ice cream and Kunu falling asleep on Issei's lap. It's clear she enjoyed the night. He drove them home and they all went to sleep. When he got into bed, he didn't expect Roswis to snuggle up to him and just hold him in his sleep. Issei, maybe this time things will be better. After having a nice dinner and falling asleep, Issei got into bed and Roswis snuggled up to him and fell asleep on his chest. Issei, maybe this time will be different. He put his arm on her back and she came closer to him. He smiled and closed his eyes, getting comfy. The area around him turned into a black void, but then a door appeared front of him. Issei, where am I? He looked around from the door and found himself in a forest. While it was raining, he could feel the droplets hitting his body, but he wasn't getting wet. Issei, why does this place look familiar? Istan crying. Issei, crying, mom, dad, please let me back in, I promise I'll be good. He looked towards the crying and saw his younger self crying by the doorway of his house before the Gremory upgraded it. Issei, is this a memory? Drake, where are you? He didn't get a reply but continued watching his younger self. The small boy walked away from the house and just went to the forest. Small ice, I don't need them, I look after myself. Sniff. He found a small cave opening. He threw a rock in and heard it bounce almost instantly and rolled back to his feet. As he walked in, he found it to be super small, no large animals could live here, and he sat down in his cold wet cloths. Issei, I remember this night I thought I was going to die, but I didn't. He watched as his younger self started to fall asleep and just passed out, his body turning white and not moving. Issei, wait, how am I watching myself like this when I passed out? He watched as a bright light came to him and then touched him and then left and his body got its pink back and he watched himself sleep. Issei, confused, what the heck? Now you know what happened, my old friend. It was the world around him that started to implode on, then it shook him awake. Roswis held him, crying her eyes out. He gasped for air and took a deep breath and grabbed Roswis back to show her he was awake. Issei, catching breath, holding Roswis, what's going on? Roswis crying, you turned white and went ice cold, I thought you died. Issei, relax, I'm okay, nothing is going to happen. He just held her while she held him for dear life, like if she let go, he was going to die. After a few minutes she passed out, but her grip strong on his body, he laid her back down and put the blanket over her and he felt her slowly getting comfy back in the warmth. Issei, Drake, what the hell happened? Drake, I don't know, I was alerted when you went cold, I tried to call you, but I couldn't reach you, you were pulled into some sort of trance and it did something to you. Your body seems to be adapting more to the fire in your system and it's bound to make more changes. Issei, but am I dying? I need to know what's going on. Drake, you are most certainly not dying, but I am reading a power growth, but I think this is good, I think the sage magic is affecting it in a good way. Perhaps this is what your magic power would have been before I came along and before you died by the hands of Rainer. Issei, we can sort it out tomorrow, I need to handle Roswis and the others first, I know they going to find out. Drake, I'll keep monitoring it for you. Issei, thanks man. Issei looked at the clock and saw it's roughly been about 4 hours since they went to bed. He closed his eyes and then fell back to sleep. The next morning Roswus woke up seeing she was being held by Issei in his sleep memories from last night. She felt his body and to the touch it's warm, but something seemed a bit off on closer inspection of his face. She found what looked like small traces of fire were moving through the markings on his body. Issei opened his eyes and saw Roswus so close to his face they looked into each other's eyes, then started to draw closer. Then she sneezed and brought them both out of their moment. They sat up both having huge blushes on their faces. Issei blushing, good morning Roswus. Roswus blushing, morning Ice, how are you feeling? Issei blushing, okay thanks. Drake said I was pulled into a trance or something, but it's affecting my fire and it's a good thing. I think when it got stronger my body went cold, then rushed back to normalcy when I woke up. Roswus blushing, oh that's good. Issei blushing, hey how long were you holding me like that? Roswus blushing, I don't remember, it was a while, though I really thought you died. Issei blushing, thanks for caring. Roswus blushing, why wouldn't I, you mean a lot to me. Issei blushing, well it just feels nice, that's all. They couldn't look at each other. There was an awkward feeling between them. It wasn't a bad feeling, but a feeling that couldn't be ignored. Buzz buzz. Issei, it's my phone. He took it and saw it was a call from Irina. He answered the phone and saw her with Riaz and the others. Issei blushing, morning, awkward smile. Irina, what happened? Roswus blushing, I'll take it from here. She took his phone and centered herself in the center of the screen. Roswus, oh last night while we were sleeping Issei's body went ice cold and he wasn't responding to me waking him up. I thought he died and he wasn't responsive for a while, but then the heat rushed back to him. He woke up. This morning I was looking at something that looked like fire moving in his skin and he woke up and that's all that happened. Ravel, is really all that happened? Issei blushing, yup, that's all, just caught me off guard is all. Roswus blushing, same with me. Bekendo, well besides your awkward morning how's the treatment been going, feeling better? Issei, I'm in bliss but other than feeling pretty good. Kaneko, are you using bedroom arts? Issei, yup, she said it would be the most effective and to look at it like you are intertwining your souls together while we are being intimate. Kaneko, dang, you got to bang the Osaka, consider yourself lucky. Issei, well, we did go about 5 rounds and she couldn't really walk after, so I assume she's happy. Zenobia, have you made it official? Issei, well, I want to say yes, but it's a bit too soon. I'm going to see her in a few minutes. We are going to have morning sessions, then I train for the rest of the day. I managed to come up with something new that hopefully doesn't blow up in my face. Riaz, well done. So Issei, I have a question about your songs that were released yesterday. Issei, oh, yay, that dropped yesterday. Yay, I have nothing to say about those. I wrote them, sang them and produced them. I haven't seen the videos for them yet. Bekendo, so you don't know what they look like? Issei, no, I was told the video will be handled and I don't need to show up for it, so I'll see it when I see it. The girls kept quiet. He could see something was wrong but figured he'd look into it later. Irina, so, how's the princess? Issei, oh, she's alright actually, very happy to see me again. Yosaka was telling me about it last night when she fell asleep. Irina, too cute man. So Issei, have you been okay mentality? Issei, relax my love, I'm alright, trust me, I'm apparently getting stronger. Roswus, screw it, take your shirt off, I want to see where these fire lines are going to, I can't stop seeing them. Riaz, I see them too. Ravel, same with me. Issei, fine, here, hold my phone. He stood up and proceeded to take his shirt off and the girls could only see the blush on Roswus's face get brighter. Ravel, Roswus, as much as I've taken screenshots, I'd like to see Issei now. Issei blushing, oh right. She turned the camera around and the girls saw Issei. There were markings on his body that they hadn't seen before, only the ones on his arms, but while looking at the lines move on the markings they could see how built he looked now and it was a big turn on for them. Irina, my love, you have gotten bigger, like everything looks a bit different. Issei, really, I don't see anything different. He looked at his body, not seeing any difference. Kaneko, dude, Roswus is frozen looking at you. Issei, well, let me put a shirt back on then. He got dressed and took his phone. Issei, well, I need to go get done, I have an interview today, I'll you all later, bye. Oh bye Issei. He put the phone away and looked at the still frozen Roswus. He came close to her and flicked her forehead. Issei, don't get lost now. She came to her senses and held the spot where he flicked her. Roswus, ow, why did you do that? Issei, you've been stuck like that for about 5 minutes. Roswus, oh, still something else could have been better. Issei, oh well, that's for next time, I'm going to go to my session, maybe afterwards we can go shopping. Roswus, sounds good, I'll be here when you are done. Issei, cool, see you in a bit. He left the room and she got back into bed and put on the TV. Back in Kao a day ago. Riaz, good morning, everyone. All morning. Bekendo, so, what do we have planned for today? Riaz, well, Irina and Ravel are feeling a bit lonely, so they going to come and see us for a bit, maybe even stay the night. Mickey, oh, that will be nice, to have them over. Kaneko, let's tidy up before they get here. Riaz, let's do it. After tidying up the house, Irina and Ravel came with some bags. Mickey, welcome girls. Irina, hi auntie. Ravel, hi Mrs. Haidu. They greeted each other and then they all came and sat down in the lounge. Irina, so how have you all been? Zenobia, pretty good, and yourself? Ravel, things are alright, but walking to school, and it's further than it looks when you don't know where to go. Issei used to guide or drive us, so waking up at 4 to be at school at 7 is a nightmare when most of the time is spent being lost and walking around. Mickey, well, stay for as long as you need girls. Irina, thanks auntie. Bakeno, hey, how was the concert? We couldn't really talk about it more. Irina, I loved it, hearing him sing again, but other than that the other band members' families were nice to talk to, so was Yuta, and I'm looking forward to Issei's new song that's coming out today. Riaz, what's its name? Irina, not sure, I just saw an ad for it on my phone this morning. Mickey, oh, what time does it release? Ravel, in the next minute or two. Riaz, quickly put it on, let's hear it. They turned on the TV and they saw the countdown. Issei's music became the biggest hit since the concert, so there were multiple stations that were playing his music. Irina, alright, let's see what the song is. It started with a video of someone who looked like Issei with a girl with red hair and they were all being flirty, then other girls came in all matching hair of one of the girls, and then the video continued playing with him having a fight with each of the girls and then being left alone and showed how he started writing the song. Riaz, sad, confused, is that meant to be us? Bakeno, sad, confused, were we that bad to him? Asia, sad, is he still angry with us? Mickey, confused, I'm really confused about it. I'm sure the girl with the twin tails was meant to either be Irina or Ravel or both, but he fought with all of them. This video makes no sense. Zenobia, sad, maybe we should ask him about it. Irina, confused, I think let's ask him tomorrow when I call him. The next song started, but this time he was in the studio singing the song this time. They listened to the words and this struck deep with Riaz. None of them had anything to say after listening to the song, they just sat in silence. The rest of the day for the girls was spent feeling bad about the songs. They didn't know what to think, but that video felt way too real and hit too close to home. Just when they thought they were getting better with him, it looks like they haven't made any difference with getting closer to him. The next day after they called him. Riaz, okay, let's see what he has to say in his interview later. Irina, I'm more concerned about what happened this morning for his body to just go cold like that. Kaneko, it could be the sage arts affecting something. I'm sure Yasaka can fix it if it's a dangerous thing. Bakeno, well, we can't let his parents know about it. I'm not sure if Mickey could take it, she still asks me now and again if he's alright when I don't know myself. Riaz, same with me. Ravel, well, let's see what he has to say. They turned on the TV and Issei's interview was live everywhere. With Issei at the studio. Interview, hello there everyone, hope you are well, we have a very special guest for you, we have the next music sensation Issei with us tonight. The camera panned over to him with Kauno on his lap in her normal clothes. Byron at home, she looks cute like that. Interview, thanks for coming today Issei. Issei, oh, it's a pleasure, I'm not used to it, my life still feels normal and nothing I've been doing feels real yet, so this is really fun for me. Interviewer, well, let's start with the young lady on your lap, who is she if you don't mind us asking? Kauno, he's my friend, smiles. Issei, well, I'm not sure yet, I have a new relationship with her mother, so it's too soon to tell, but we are close, that's all I'm willing to say. Interviewer, well, I wish you the best of luck Issei. Issei, thanks, smiles. They saw her smile and he wrapped his arm around her waist, bringing her closer to him. They could hear the audience say, always seeing the display of affection. Interview, so, as you know, you released 2 new songs and made over 1 million streams, listens and purchases in one day, how do you feel? Issei, shocked, well damn, that's a lot, I didn't even see it. Pauno, yeah, we were watching and I'm. Issei, shhh, I was meant to be working. Pauno, alright, shh, no one can know we were watching and I'm. They all had a bit of a chuckle, then the interviewer asked another question. Interviewer, really, you didn't look at the progress of the song at all? Issei, well, I was preoccupied with other things, but I'm impressed with how well it took off considering I didn't even approve the video's bleed was alright, that's pretty much what it's like when I'm making music, but the Parasite video way off. Interviewer, what do you mean? Issei, well, you see, sure, I did have a fight with most of the girls in the video, but 3 of them I'm close to, and 1 is my girlfriend and 2 of them live with me. Interviewer, what, that's a lot to take in, but mind explaining what is going on in the video? Issei, well, the girl in the red hair was my girlfriend and the other girls were her friends and my friends, but all that was super staged and over-exaggerated because they made me fight with my current girlfriend and even my roommate, it never went down like that I'm actually still friends with all of them as we speak. The looks of the girls were honestly a reference from my wallpaper on my phone. Interviewer, mind if I look? Issei, sure. He showed his lock screen and it was with all of them hanging out at his old house. Then it changed to when they were all holding him in a group hug. Issei they legit took this picture and made that video with no context whatsoever, not entirely upset about it, the video was good, but the execution could have been done better, and that was made because I'm working with other songs that have taken priority at the moment. Interview well, the song is still great, don't get me wrong, but what songs have you made? Issei well, I'm calling them stripped versions, they are the variants that are made before the final song, but it's only when the beat and tune that needs to be worked on. Interviewer do you mind playing for us or giving us a small sneak peek? Issei sure, the song is meant to drop next month with a few others. Ano hey Issei can I play the tambourine? Issei do you remember the tune? Ano yes. Issei then I have no issue with it. They changed stages and watched them pick up some instruments. Issei handed Kano the tambourine and he picked up the guitar and then took a piano with it as well, and a man from the band came to assist with playing. Issei spoke to him a bit and then showed him the keys to play. Back at the house. As we are still his wallpaper. Irina yay he said you don't just stop loving someone, he's still trying to figure out his feelings, but I do suggest don't talk about it even around me, it's a touchy subject because he feels he doesn't deserve me in his life still, so it really is a stressful topic for him. Asia I see, have you heard the song he wants to play? Back at the studio. Issei alright let's do this. Issei right now, that's all I have, other than that I'm happy with how it came out. Interviewer I must say when that song releases it's going to break the charts more than Parasite and Bleed. Issei well, we just have to wait and see don't we smiles. He then felt a small tug on his shirt and looked to see Kano. Kano Issei can we go get ice cream after this? Issei sure no problem. Kano yay grins. Interviewer well, I have to say thank you for coming in today, it was enlightening, and we at the station have to say thank you for letting us be your first interview. Issei it's no problem honestly, which is why I'm here to say later today there will be another single I made it for my girlfriend, it's all for her, no video, yet if she's willing, then she can be in it. Back at the house. Irina blushing why? Riaz what are you feeling embarrassed for, here wrote a song for you. Irina blushing it's not that, it's just I'm not sure if I want to be on TV or not. Akeno oh, I'm getting excited for when it's out, maybe it's the way he sees you. Haneko as much as I'm happy for him, don't you think this may be exposing himself too much a bit? Zenovia I've had the same thought actually, I don't know what to really think of it, but he's put the spotlight on him and he's very much definitely not stopping. Riaz perhaps we talk to him about it when he gets back. Akeno he's still going to be there for a while. Asia then we talk about our concerns and try and tell him fully and not make him angry. Irina well, that doesn't sound so bad. Back in Kyoto. Issei alright Kano let's go and get some ice cream. Kano, let's go. They went to get ice cream and sat down to enjoy it a bit. They sat on the hillside looking down at the city. Kano hey Issei can I ask you something? Issei sure, go ahead what's up? Kano do you like my mom? Issei okay where are you going with this? Kano for as long as I can remember I remember a lot of guys coming into my mother's life talking about marriage for something, but she always denied them, she's never shown any interest in anyone since my father from what I've heard from the other adults, then you came into our lives and I've never seen her looking this happy, so I want to know do you like my mom? Issei well, yes I like your mom, and sure it's adult things that she and I are handling, but if it comes to it, I'll protect you and her from anything, you both are important to me understand. She looked at her ice cream and nodded. Issei now I think it's time for your lessons don't you think? Kano shocked oh right I still have classes, she only let me go because I wanted to go out with you. Issei alright first finish your ice cream, I'm sure your mother watched the interview on TV and knows that we went for ice cream, but why do you like ice cream so much? Kano I've always seen others eating it so I've always wanted to try it and I enjoy it a lot. Issei well, that doesn't seem so bad. After eating their ice cream, they went back to the temple where they met with Roswis and Yosaka waiting for them. Issei went to Yosaka and gave her a quick kiss and then she and Kano went to start her lessons. Issei alright Roswis it's you and I now, where do you want to go? Roswis how about we go get some clothes for you and me? Issei why me? Roswis are you serious, you hardly fit into your old clothes, you grew a bit and looks like the last, to be honest your dad isn't that tall to really begin with. Issei what? Roswis kids are only meant to grow taller than their parents and 90% of humans, and in that 10% have those tall genes that make them extremely taller than others. Issei damn what a way to call me average. Roswis holding laugh so you admit it. Issei let's go before these turn into the roast of Issei. Roswis giggling all alright let's go then. She got into the passenger and he got in and the two went to the shopping district. While walking around Roswis held Issei's arm, he immediately held her hand and put it in his pocket while they walked. Many of the girls in the area saw this, they were part of his fan club, they took loads of photos and it spread like wildfire on the internet. Back in Cow. Addis oh my god, this is so messed up. The class looked at her confused as to what she was talking about. Irina, what is it? Addis, look. She showed her phone and they saw Roswas wrapped around Issei's arm and still holding his hand in the shopping district. Irina and Aki, your man is with our teacher like this and you're alright with this? Irina, should I? He does that with me, he even did it with Asia after she was taken from him while she was with him, so he does that with anyone now to make sure it doesn't happen again. Murayama, is this true? Asia? Asia, yes, I was kind of kidnapped and Issei got me back and he did start doing that for protection. Addis, wow, again we judged him too quickly again. Zenobia, we learned the hard way and building his trust back is hard. Back in Kyoto. Roswas, alright, try these on and see what happens. Issei, oh man, but I want that shirt. Roswas, ill rather not face off with an angry Irina that doesn't like that, I don't even like it. Issei, you know what, I don't need the hentai jacket is below the new me. Roswas, that's kind of the spirit. Issei, kind of. Roswas, I didn't say it's not too bad, but you have a new image now and wouldn't you want to protect it? Issei, light, let's make a bet. Roswas, sure. Issei, if by any chance I land up in that jacket after today, and no, I don't mean buying it, but I'm asked to wear it, you must buy me dinner. Roswas, it's a date then. They shook hands in agreement on the one-sided bet. After changing up his style, Roswas decided to keep red in his clothing, it goes with his eyes and he looks really good on, so in the end, Issei had red and black suit with a few black jackets and some black cargo pants with some black boots. Issei, alright, since you picked clothes for me I'll pick clothes for you. Roswas, fair enough. Issei, alright, we can take this, that, two of those and these. Roswas, light blush, are you sure those can fit? Issei, your size 96 cm and H cup. Roswas, blush, how? Issei, that's one thing about my ed nature that's stuck reading people's bodies, but when it comes to clothes, most girls will be happy with me because I know their body proportions and will be able to find clothing that fits you well. Roswas, alright, I trust you. She went to try on the clothes and she had a new dress, boots, underwear, jeans, shoes and 3 different tops, and to top it all off it was all on sale too, which made her even happier. Issei, see, shopping with me is a breeze. Roswas, I agree, you know how to find clothes that actually fit properly and are not too big or too small, thanks. Issei, no problem, you hungry? Roswas, a bit, yay. Issei, my treat, let's get something to eat. They went to the food court and sat down with some burgers. Issei, hey, tell me something. Roswas, sure. Issei, why do you really want a boyfriend, for actual romance or for the sake of saying you have a boyfriend? Roswas, damn hitting with the hard questions, aren't you? Issei, payback for calling me average. Roswas giggles, fine, well, growing up I always wanted to experience love, I saw it with my parents and saw it with my grandparents, so growing up, I just wanted to experience what it was like, but sadly none of the boys liked me, even when I would try and stand out, it backfired on me and landed up making a fool of myself, leading to the others making fun of me. And why Auden was always making remarks about me being single forever. Issei, really not one guy, not even a girl. Roswas, no one was interested in me, I watched as my old friends became mothers or found love, it made me feel lonely in the end, that's really what there is to it, I ended up focusing more on work by the time I was a teenager and landed up cutting out romance entirely, and here I am now. Issei, sorry about that, but how can't they see what I see? Roswas, what do you mean? Issei, a strong independent woman who can't handle her alcohol. Nah, I'm joking, you caring and passionate amongst other things I actually notice, like when you try to be serious but land up looking clumsy in the end, or let's not talk about how strong you really are when you're drunk, you kicked during our first trip to Kyoto. Roswas, blushing, thanks. Issei, don't be thanking me, you are perfect the way you are, don't try and change for a man that won't accept you for your quirks and all. Roswas, smiling, I will, smiles. Issei, alright, let's go. Roswas, sure thing. They got up and walked to the car, she held onto his arm while they walked and she was stuck in her own mind. Roswas, this isn't the same man I knew before, he's not as ed as he was, but still has moments like any man should, but he seems to be in control of everything, maybe I do like him. Once back at the car they got in and drove off back to the temple, it was still a bit early in the day, so they decided to relax in their room and watch some TV, and the song Issei performed is blowing up everywhere now, even though it's not finished. Issei, dang, this much positive feedback for an unfinished song. Roswas, I know, right, but it's a good song, one feel motivational like me, it made me feel motivational, but you know the Rias and the others were concerned about the songs, thinking it for them. Issei, huh, I guess they would feel that way, I cut them off too. Roswas, you mentioned still being friends with them, how true is that? Issei, 30% true, I don't know if I should let them back in again. That first night when my body went cold, the dream started with me crying outside in the rain, screaming I'll be good to my parents, and then I went to a cave and I technically died, and then I woke up, then you were crying holding me. I'm not sure if the sage arts is helping me heal, but I'm getting some flashbacks that are making me question family at the moment. Which is why I'm here. The sliver magic circle opened on the floor and out came Grafia and Serziches. Both got up and bowed before them. Serziches, your family issei, you don't need to be so formal. Issei, so what brings you guys here? Serziches, well, we both kind of got sidetracked and remember we spoke about bringing you into one of our families and I'm here to tell Ravel's mother heard about you looking for a family name and she's also willing to take you in. Issei, ha, I actually forgot about that, maybe that's what the door meant. Grafia, what door? Issei, last night in a dream I was a small child hitting a door for my parents to open and then I left the house in the rain, then I went cold, then I woke up in a flash and Roswis was holding me crying, thinking I died. Serziches, I believe it's the sage arts correcting your thoughts to try and bring you some peace. Wait for me. The blue circle opened on the floor and out came Seraphol Leviathan. Seraphol, you know why I'm here. I'm here to offer a home for you in the event you don't want to be with the Gremory. I was very much willing to help you and I wish to help you again, you've been helping us a lot, so now it's time to return the favor. Issei, I appreciate it, thanks, smiles. Serziches, but even Seraphol will agree the sage arts is trying to help you pick a family, that door could be your choice and once your choice is made the door might open. Roswis, now that I think about it, it does make sense. Issei, yeah, you're right. Issei, alright, let me think, I can't hold off on this anymore. He sat down, closed his eyes and thought about it. After a few moments he opened his eyes. Issei, how does Issei? Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment below your favorite part. Don't forget